You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
But now on Fox 17 News This Morning, 6 months after the deadly tornadoes ripped through the mid-state, recovery is now ongoing. We're going to show you some of the progress being made. And after CMA Fest wrapped up, many of the concert goers have now left town, but the cleanup is in full swing. We'll take you there live from downtown. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News This Morning, just after 4 a.m. on this Monday, June the 10th. I'm Justin McFarland. Well, it was 6 months ago now, the mid-state neighbors woke up and looked around to the devastation as a major tornado struck the mid-state, causing life-changing damage in places like Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and even Springfield. Now, those tornadoes claimed the lives of at least 4 people who died in Clarksville and another 3 people who died in Madison. Now, dozens of people were hurt as well, and hundreds of homes were damaged or destroyed. In the middle of the chaos, many Middle Tennesseans came together, rallying around the community to try and provide some relief. They also were trying to get some help going from the local and federal governments as disaster areas were declared. Again, that was 6 months ago. We're going to be taking a look back here, making sure that people are putting their lives back together. But what about the weather for today? Let's get to Greg Bowman. He's standing by with a look at that.
Always tracking what's next, and this time around we're going to flip things around a little bit compared to the last week. No more thunderstorms in the forecast for us here. Next, weather maker is going to start off with some fog this morning and then move into sunshine for the next 7 days. Foggy, though, dense fog advisory in effect basically everyone I-40 on north. There will be areas of reduced visibility. You want to take it slow. We're using the low beams. The sun doesn't come up for over an hour and a half. So this is the one big feature in the forecast to start off the day. Now, the big 3 things to know for the upcoming week. Well, one, it's a split week completely. You'll see it in the 7-day forecast in less than a minute that everything goes right down the middle. Great today and tomorrow. Hot, just flat out hot, starting on Thursday all the way through Sunday and Monday of next week. Possibility we could have 4 or 5 days that end up hitting 90 degrees and no rain during any of that. 60 right now. Again, watching for that fog to develop in the next hour or so with the most likely chance to start seeing that really thicken up on our cameras. And taking a look, here's Lower Broadway. We made it through it another year, another CMA Fest, and another hosed down Broadway after everything that happened for the weekend. Temperatures keep us in the upper 50s and low 60s through 7 o'clock. Eventually right up near 80 degrees later this afternoon. Fantastic. Low humidity. Great today. Great tomorrow. Wednesday 85, and then there we go Thursday through Sunday at or above 90. We'll talk much more about that heat and increasing humidity for the weekend. The next check of the forecast.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's get you a look here at what we're dealing with at I-65 at Trinity Lane. This is on the north side of town. Traffic up there moving along really nicely. No big problems in either direction there. Glad to see it after what has been a very busy week and weekend across the mid-state here with lots and lots of traffic and people getting out there on the roads for the CMA Fest. But that is wrapping up, and a lot of folks are now leaving the Metro Nashville area in big numbers. We're going to show you other things happening around the mid-state, but right now we're doing fine for the most part with Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. Well, let's talk about Operation Crime and Justice. Metro Police made an arrest in the Tanger Outlet shoplifting incident that sparked a viral video. A 15-year-old is now behind bars after the arrest that took place on Saturday. Police are still searching for 2 other suspects. Now, the video of this whole thing shows shoppers blocking the thieves inside of the store. It's a perfume store there at the Tanger Outlets in the Antioch area. It was prompting for a call for change for a lot of the authorities out there. The trio eventually slipped out of the back door and ran away. Metro Police say they are now increasing their presence at the Tanger Outlets. Well, after days of, let's call it, music mania in downtown Nashville, CMA Fest is now packing up. Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker live on the scene for us in downtown Nashville, very close to the iconic hard rock guitar that's spinning there on Broadway near First Avenue. And now the streets are wet and the stage breakdowns in full swing. And it would seem that they've done a good job trying to get the streets reopened there after 90,000 people a day. 90,000 people on Thursday, Friday, 90,000 people again on Saturday, another 90,000 yesterday have now left Middle Tennessee, and it looks to be almost back to business as usual there in downtown Nashville. So we're going to continue to watch that. You see the lights on over there at Nissan Stadium. That's because they're continuing to break down the stage there after the biggest names in country music hit that area. So we'll continue to follow the cleanup live in downtown Nashville. There was some rain in Knoxville with a little bit of lightning as well. It did cause a delay in the game between Tennessee and Evansville in the Super Regional. Now, this was important. It was Game 3, the deciding game. The winner goes on to the College World Series, and the winner was the Volunteers. Goodbye, baseball. The Vols come up with big home runs throughout the game, and they made quick work of the Evansville Purple Aces. Purple Aces scored one run in the first inning, and then the Vols outscored them after that 12-0. They win final score. Vols 12, Purple Aces 1. So they dominate and make their way on to the College World Series. They advance to Omaha. They are one of 8 teams that will appear in the College World Series. This will be their 3rd appearance in the big game in the last 4 years. The Volunteers will be taking on Florida State coming up here in the next round. Well, the Vols are not the only team headed to Omaha for the College World Series. Kentucky is making history with their very first College World Series entry. The Wildcats were able to beat Oregon State 3-2 yesterday. The SEC now makes up at least half of the contenders in the College World Series, with Tennessee, Kentucky being joined by teams like Florida, Texas A&M, and Georgia as well. So we'll see exactly how that goes as we continue on here. Well, coming up, the search for a person who ended up being shot in a road rage situation out in... Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Metro Police say they are investigating a road rage shooting in Antioch. It left at least one 18-year-old hit by that gunfire. Police are now responding to the 3500th block of Murfreesboro Pike just after around 6 o'clock on Saturday night. You can see one of the vehicles slammed into an SUV, and there appears to be bullet holes in that SUV as well. Wow. One person was rushed to Vanderbilt Medical Center. We are continuing to try to learn more about this crash. The family of a missing 8-month-old baby girl is set to appear in court today. Kentucky police say they could not find baby Maya Tucker during a welfare check at the Reynolds Station home last week. Officers arrested Maya's parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd. Now, they are both facing a list of charges, including abandonment of a minor and child abuse. Police say that Maya's grandfather is also due in court on some of the same charges. Maya has brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about this, again, 8-month-old baby, you're asked to call the Kentucky State Police. Wild video captured on I-24. Take a look yesterday. This was yesterday afternoon. Smoky Bar News providing that particular video of the blaze that happened there on I-24 just before exit 40. It is not clear whether or not anyone was hurt in that fire, but certainly a scary sight to see as you're driving along there on I-40. As you're coming down from the Jolton and Whites Creek area, you can see that car fully engulfed. Hopefully everybody's okay.
Coming up, we'll look at your forecast here. Brand new week and a new weather pattern right there on your screen, though. Take a look. If you're west of 65 and north of 40, your visibility is down less than a quarter of a mile. Dense fog advisory until 8. We'll talk about that and plan your week and your forecast.
And steer clear traffic takes us to the east side of town. This could be I-40 at Donaldson Pike out near the airport. Things are calmer now than they were yesterday, that's for sure. Fox 17 News.
Empowers, protects.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Live look this morning there in Chicago, Illinois. As you can see, it looks to be Well, at least no rain falling up there in Chicago. That's live in downtown there along the Chicago River, which of course runs out to Lake Michigan. Always something to see and do, especially this time of the year up there in Chicago. Have they had the taste yet, Greg?
Sir,
they have not had the taste yet. Okay, the Taste of Chicago is a big event up there that has been going on for decades. Draws hundreds of thousands of people. So just something to keep in mind. All right, let's talk about what's going on in Gaza. The Gaza Health Ministry has raised the death toll from Saturday's raid that saw 4 hostages rescued there in Gaza. Now, this is the very latest. It says that the at least 274 Palestinians were killed in the process. Now, Israel's military says it launched airstrikes on the refugee camp to protect troops who were coming under fire. They're blaming the casualties on Hamas for hiding hostages among civilians. The National Security Advisor for the United States, Jake Sullivan, appeared on ABC News to defend Israel's right to launch attacks if it means rescuing hostages.
We will continue to work with Israel to do that. We will also continue to reinforce the point that all of their military operations, including hostage rescue operations, should take every precaution to minimize the amount of civilian harm or civilian casualties. That is a point we will reinforce in all of our engagements with the Israelis going forward.
In the meantime, the World Food Program, the head of that World Food Program, says that they are suspending operations as the U.S. built up a pier there in Gaza because of several warehouses that were hit by rockets during the operation. President Joe Biden and the First Lady, they visited an American cemetery near Paris yesterday to honor U.S. soldiers and Marines that were killed during World War I. Now, President Biden says America shows up when it's needed.
I think it is a measure of a country's support for democratic values that they honor those who've risked their lives and lost their lives. The idea that I'd come to Normandy and not make this short trip here to pay tribute. And it's the same story. Think about it. America showed up. America showed up.
President Biden placed a wreath at the cemetery chapel and paused for a moment of silence before the headstone, right in front of the headstones marking the final resting place of more than 2,200 soldiers. The visit wrapped up Biden's 5-day trip to France, which included a commemoration for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Well, after days of a lot of music and a lot of parties going on in downtown Nashville, CMA Fest is now packing up. Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker live on that scene down there next to the Hard Rock, and you can see for yourself how the cleanup is progressing, and it's progressing rather well. Not a lot going on there in downtown. The streets are wet, and I'm not sure if this was rain or maybe the streets cleaners have been able to get down there, and with that kind of wetness, I would think this is a street cleaning here. It hasn't rained that much, that intensely, that recently. The lights are still on over in Nissan Stadium because there's still a lot of work to do over there as they break down the large stage and get ready for whatever's next coming to downtown Nashville. Keep in mind, music fans, still plenty of opportunities to capture all kinds of music events happening around the Mid-State. Big festival still coming up down there in Bonnaroo, down in Manchester. That event begins later this month. So, all things considered, not a bad weekend out there. It could have been a lot worse, Greg. I know. Yeah. I was following some of the emails coming into the Fox 17 newsroom, some of the alerts out there. There was severe weather that could have impacted this event that just didn't pour in quite as hard as it could have.
Thankfully, yeah. We talked about it going into the weekend. It was those pockets of rain, those chances. Yeah. And will it make it to that one little dot on the map? That was the big question. Because you think about it, the geography of how large Middle Tennessee is versus the size of, downtown, right near Nissan Stadium, near all the stages. We lucked out, though, for the most part. Taking a look, temperatures here are cooling. We have cooler air coming in from the north, so we're talking at 60 degrees. But you get down into Alabama, just across the state line, they're still in the 70s. So that cooler air has prompted some visibility issues. We do have some areas of some dense fog, mainly west of 65 and north of I-40. To start off this morning, that dense fog advisory I mentioned about 15 minutes ago, that is for everyone north of I-40 until 8 o'clock this morning. What to wear today? Just go for comfort. no rain gear. You can put the rain gear in the closet until the end of this week into the upcoming weekend. Up and out the door. Temperatures right side of your screen. They're going to stick around there for you all the way through 9 o'clock, even during the commercial breaks. 60 degrees by 7 o'clock, but most of this morning will be right where we're at now through about 9 o'clock, and then we'll slowly climb back to near 80 degrees. It really is a very calm picture here over downtown. What also was great, not only are the temperatures going to be only in the low 80s, so below average, but also we don't have any humidity today or tomorrow. It will feel gorgeous, loaded up with sunshine this afternoon. We'll go with 80 degrees today, 81 degrees tomorrow, 85 on Wednesday. Enjoy the early half of the week. Look what happens after that. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday and Saturday, 96 degrees on Sunday. And quite frankly, if things trend this way and we don't get any rain and the clouds hold off on Sunday, we could be as high as 97 or 98 degrees. The heat takes over the second half of the week.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to Dickson County. Let's take a look at the screen if you can. There's nothing wrong with your television. Don't adjust it. You're good. That's I-40 at I-840 out there in Dickson. Visibility is low. Lots and lots of fog out there in that area. Looks like we may have one disabled vehicle on the shoulder, but to be honest, it's hard to tell what it is because of the fog. So please keep that in mind. According to Greg's map here, the fog extends from there back into the west, especially to the north and west there. So places like Paris and Cumberland City and Erin, McEwen, Waverly. This is going to be part of your drive as you get out there this morning. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, is now dissolving his country's government and calling for what's called a snap election. This is after the far-right parties made sweeping gains in the European Union's election of parliament there. Now, after 4 days of voting wrapped up, this was the scene just yesterday as the EU's 27 member states, apart from France, initial exit polls show there were gains for far-right parties in Austria and in Germany. However, the center-right European People's Party is projected to keep the majority there in Parliament. Coming up, the Democratic National Convention is happening later this summer, and police are already preparing for what they're calling large-scale protests that could take place. And 2 shark attacks in Florida have beachgoers and authorities on the lookout. We're going to tell you exactly where this is happening.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broad.
4:24 is the time. Live look there over downtown Nashville, Tennessee. We are doing really nicely out there so far this morning. We do have some fog in certain parts of the viewing area, though. There are areas out in Dickson with some fog, some areas we understand over in Robertson County as well that could be dealing with some fog. So Greg Bobas will have a complete look at all of that coming up here in a few minutes. Well, Chicago police are now preparing even now for crowds and possibly a little trouble at the 2024 Democratic National Convention. Now, specialized training includes de-escalation as well as possible riots and vandalism and even mass arrest. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, will be renominated by his party. It is expected there at the convention to run again. Chicago could see more than 50 organized planned protests that is going to be happening near the convention center, which is at the United Center there in Chicago. That's their main arena there. There have been denied a lot of the protest permits so far have been denied. The convention runs from August the 19th through August the 22nd there at the United Center in Chicago. Florida fire officials are now warning some of the beachgoers out there to be careful after they say that 3 people were hurt in 2 separate shark attacks. Now, the shark attacks happened on Friday in Florida's Panhandle. This happened within less than 2 hours, less than 5 miles apart. A 45-year-old woman suffered a major injury with her left arm that had to be amputated after the attack. Two teens were then attacked about an hour and a half later while swimming in a beach just a few miles away from their first attack. One of the teens is in the hospital with an injured leg and hand. The second teen has since been released. Well, let's get to Greg. Look at the forecast.
Yeah, here we are, 4:26 in the morning, taking a look ahead to the rest of today, and it's a very easy one. We've been seeing it on our cameras this morning, though the big story really is the fog until about 9 o'clock. Dense fog advisory north of I-40 for that reason. Limited visibility. 80 degrees, that's our high temperature later today. Right now, we're in the upper 50s and low 60s on the right side of your screen. We'll call it a below average day, but that's okay. I feel really comfortable with low humidity. Sun not setting until 8:09. Enjoy it while it lasts. Look at your screen. 94 on Saturday. 96 degrees on Sunday, laboring through heat both days. Even the nighttime temperatures for many of us might not make it down below 70 degrees. And no thunderstorms, but humidity will still be climbing. So you're going to have the heat, sunshine, humidity. This is that time of the year we'll start talking about, just all the back of the mind things we forget about when it's the colder months or it's the spring, all the heat safety precautions. That'll be a big story later this week. Right now, just scan the QR code and go to Fox 17 Code Red Weather. Just type that into the App Store, Google Play Store. That'll help you out there. You're going to get our forecast, and each day is going to get hotter and hotter toward the weekend. We'll get you a look at your 7-day forecast as soon as we start our 4:30 half hour in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out and about among the fog. This is going to be I-40 at I-840 over in Dickson County. You can see how thick the fog is out there. So heads up in that area. It is going to be part of your drive coming in from Dickson County. Also, we understand north of town, Robertson County, up that way could have some fog as well. So heads up on that. Back here in Nashville, this is going to be I-40 at Donaldson Pike. We're dealing with a bit of a slowdown here because of a disabled vehicle on the shoulder of the road. Metro Police there dealing with that. No need to steer clear yet, just something to be aware of as you get out there on the road. You see on the other side, people going to the airport.
Help you save.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Well, now on Fox 17 News This Morning, the Grand Ole Opry welcoming in its newest member over the weekend. Congratulations to Lainey Wilson.
Taking a look here, we're seeing some fog even developing on our sky cameras overlooking downtown. That's the big story this morning. And then we talk about a major heat up toward the upcoming weekend.
All right, the fog moving into Metro. You can see it right here at I-40 and I-840. That's in Dickson County. And it can get just this thick a lot of different places around the mid-state. We're going to show you where else you could see some fog. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4:30 on a Monday. I'm Justin McFarland. In Operation Crime and Justice, Lebanon police catching up to this man right here. He is James Muncie. Police say that Mr. Muncie was identified as a suspect in several recent car break-ins at the Little Lambs Daycare. That's just off of McGregor Street. Now, Muncie is being charged with 3 counts of burglary, theft, and vandalism. Well, cleanup is taking place. Downtown Nashville, this is after thousands of people from around the world packed the streets for the CMA Fest. But now the party's over and somebody's got to clean up. Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is live on the scene for us there in downtown Nashville. You can see right there in front of the Hard Rock, everything moving along pretty well. No big problems down there. The streets seem to be completely cleaned out there. We are doing rather well. Lights are on over at Nissan Stadium, though. That's where they're going to be breaking down the stage across the river there over the next few nights after they set up a massive one for this cleanup. Unsure if the street is reopened completely yet. So we're going to try to take another look at that area, let you know what we find as far as CMA cleanup. But they've got this down to a science after so many years of doing it. The cleanup is happening a lot easier than it used to. And there's my question about the traffic. It looks like it's open there. Well, this weekend is Father's Day, and we want to know if you are ready to go. Have you bought your Father's Day present as of yet? Well, this poll is up and operating right now. You can cast your vote by going to our X page. You can find us over at Fox Nashville. You can scan that QR code right there at the side of your screen as well. Turns out that 71% of you say, no, you have not bought Dad a gift as of yet.
Oh, yeah, it's that time of the year where I remember when I was a kid, be like, hey, Dad, here's your tie, and then he goes outside and mows the lawn. You know, those kinds of things. Taking a look here, reduce visibility, slow it down. Don't be that person this morning on a Monday morning, starting off the week where we're tailgating people in front of us, and there's fog with visibility less than a mile. That's many of us waking up this morning. One of our foggier mornings we've had in quite some time, especially this early in the morning. So keep that in mind. Great start to the week. We'll have temperatures that are going to be below average today, tomorrow, and even on Wednesday. And then we'll get a little spicy for the weekend. We have temperatures Thursday through Sunday that'll be in the low to middle 90s. I'm seeing some signs that Sunday into Monday, both of those days, we could end up in the upper 90s potentially. So our eyes are glued to the weekend, so enjoy the first 3 days of this week while we're watching what happens with the heat that moves in to round out the week. We are at 60 degrees right now. It's comfortable. Humidity has been dropping throughout the entire overnight, which will make it feel great later today. 80 degrees and no humidity with some sunshine. Sounds good to me. Take a look at that. We'll back it up with an 82 on, I should say an 81 on your Tuesday, and then 85 degrees on Wednesday before the 90s make their way here. We'll start talking about another big music festival and a forecast I put together for Bonnaroo down in Manchester this week, and we'll get to that in a few.
All right, Greg, thank you. Let's take a look at steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. And it is very foggy out there at I-40 and I-840. This is over in Dickson County. You can see there, or maybe you can't see there, there is some traffic, but the traffic is having to fight its way through the fog there on that far west side. So this is something we're seeing over in Robertson County as well. So please keep that in mind when you wake up and come out the door. You're going to be dealing with this fog here for the next couple of hours. Greg Bobas, I know, is giving us the details. He'll continue to watch it in the skies. I'll continue to watch it down on the roads.
I'm a little bit biased, but there can never be too many women at the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, now they've got one more. Take a look here. This is country music royalty, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks, who surprised Lainey Wilson at the Grand Ole Opry this weekend to welcome her as the newest member. This is always a special moment.
This right here is the highest honor for me. It feels like that stamp of approval from everybody that stood right here.
Wilson says that she remembers sitting in the Opry audience at 9 years old, dreaming of the day that she'll get to stand in that Opry circle as a member of the house that country music built. Happening now, a Mid-State Dam will be closed for repairs, which means you may have to make a few changes as far as your drive is concerned. Centerville Dam, this is over in DeKalb County, will be closed from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. today. That means no driving along State Route 141 at the top of the dam. Recreation areas near that dam will also be closed. Again, this is over in DeKalb County. Well, coming up, a shakeup in Israel as one of the prime minister's main rivals has handed over his position. This is in the middle of a major protest. We've got more on that in a few minutes. And a mountain highway sliding down the cliff, cutting off the lifeline between communities. We'll tell you where. Fox 17 News, we're your only
protects.
4:38 is the time. Live look there from Las Vegas, Nevada. That is where former President Donald Trump was recently giving a rally there, speaking to supporters there in Vegas. Of course, Nevada, one of the swing states that could decide the upcoming presidential election in 2024. So a live look there in Vegas where the lights never dim. That is the real city that doesn't sleep. Nashville, we nap for a couple hours. Vegas, no, they don't even doze off. They're always gone. In Israel, a rival of Benjamin Netanyahu announced that his party has now withdrew yesterday. Centrist Benny Gantz is accusing the prime minister of Netanyahu of putting his political survival before the country's security needs. Now, Gantz had previously threatened to resign if Netanyahu did not come up with a new plan for post-war Gaza. He also called for early elections this fall, echoing weekly protests across Israel. His resignation is unlikely to have any immediate impacts. A large portion of a major mountain road is now out of commission. a chunk of Tinton's Pass, which connects small Idaho towns and Jackson, Wyoming, collapsed. Thankfully, the highway was closed because of a nearby mudslide at the time of the collapse. Look at the damage there. Oh, that's very scary to even consider thinking about. Thankfully, no one was hurt, no one was on the road, and no reopening has been set as of yet.
That video, jeez. Look at here back home, nothing to worry about. We're already kind of gearing up for the next thing on the list here when it comes to summer events. It's just how it goes here across Middle Tennessee. Right now, the fog is the main story this morning. We are seeing it elevated. We're also seeing it on the roadways. So we have the 1-2 combo, dense fog advisory in effect, mainly north of I-40 through about 8 o'clock this morning. I'm watching the airport carefully to see what that could mean for any visibility problems that could delay flights. As of right now, we're not seeing too much out of the ordinary when it comes to the number of flight delays. But here's the airport forecast for today. 67 degrees at 9 o'clock, 79 at noon, 82 degrees at 3. Sun the whole time. Once the fog is gone, that is it. We get sun the rest of today. 60 degrees, no wind. No wind leads to fog sometimes, and that's one of the cases today. We have 9 delays on the big board right now. Typically, we've got between 5 and 10 around this time in the morning, so nothing out of the ordinary at the airport right now. Let's talk ahead, though, to one of those events I mentioned. We have Bonnaroo in Manchester. Far different weekend than the last 4-day weekend we just had here downtown in Nashville. 90 degrees on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, and 92 on Sunday. Hard pressed to find a raindrop. It will be hot and the humidity will be climbing. So this is part of your weekend. Keep that in mind. Already start getting that game plan ready on how to beat the heat.
Steer clear traffic out there. Let's get you over to the very latest happening on I-40 and I-840. That's over in Dickson County. That is where you can see there. The traffic is moving, but it's a foggy start out there. Very low visibility, not just there in Dickson County, but in other parts of the mid-state there as well. So be forewarned. Fog could be part of your drive, that not just in Dickson County, but we understand parts of Robertson County, Cheatham County could also be experiencing this. So heads up as you get out the door. Other than that, back here in the city right now, we're not dealing with the fog as thickly as other areas, but we are watching for increase in traffic over there at I-40 at Donaldson Pike. This is close to the airport. Things are set to be busy yet again. Well, coming up, the district attorney who led the hush money case against former President Trump says he is now willing to testify
today.
4:44 is the time. The Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has agreed to testify before Congress. Now, the man who headed the hush money case against former President Donald Trump says that any date will have to come after the former president is sentenced next month. Bragg came forward with his willingness to testify in a letter on Friday to the Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio, who is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. A Manhattan jury, you may remember, found former President Trump guilty on 34 felony charges last month. Many Republicans on Capitol Hill have worked to discredit that particular conviction. The May job report is out, and it is seeing stronger than expected job growth, even though the unemployment has ticked up to now 4%, 3.9, now 4%. Regardless of the data, some households are still struggling to stay afloat out there. John Lawrence has this report.
The U.S.'s middle class is getting smaller, and the number of Americans falling toward poverty is on the rise.
Most people have seen their wages go up, their earnings go up over time, but they're not enough to compensate for the higher prices.
According to a recent report from the Pew Research Center, in 1971, 61% of the nation was middle class. As of 2023, that number dropped to 51%.
Just try not to eat out as much. Kind of realized pretty quickly that that's unsustainable, so just trying to make some more meals at home.
Pew researchers define middle class as having a total income at least 2/3 to twice as much as the median household. And analysts say things like the monthly bill at the grocery store.
I have seen it increase, definitely.
To sky-high interest rates and persistent inflation has more middle-class Americans keeping a tighter grip on their wallets.
People are now having to realize and they always do, but I think even more so, they have to make choices. We're seeing that in the marketplace.
The report from Pew Research also says when adjusted for inflation, all classes had incomes that were higher in 2022 than in 1970. But the increases for those in the middle and lower brackets were much lower than the upper class. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, the economic data also shows many lower income consumers are having trouble paying their bills on time. Your energy bill this summer may get a little hot under the collar, and it could jump as much as 10%. Two organizations, the National Energy Assistance Directors Association and the Center for Energy Poverty and Climate. Now, summer energy bills may rise more than 8% over last year. The organizations say that consumers will pay an average of $719 more worth of energy from June through September, about $180 a month. Utilities over in the east and south central U.S. will spike about 10%, and the mid-Atlantic regions, as well as the Pacific Coast bills could be up more than 12%.
Well, that sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just higher energy bills. More money, more money, more money.
And then more problems with more money. We're adding in some days that are going to be in the 90s here, Justin. This may even start hitting the pocketbooks next month after this month's electric bill comes in, because we're going to have 4 or 5 days in a row that are going to bring us to or above the 90-degree mark. This is the big story right here, though. Look at the map. If you are in any shaded color, you have visibility of less than 1 mile. If you are in the orange areas, think Dickson. Even getting red right around the Dickson area, you have less than a quarter mile of visibility. Dense fog advisory until 8 o'clock this morning. This is the foggiest start we have had in about the last 2 or 3 weeks when it comes to a morning and its impact that's a little more widespread. That's what the advisory is out there. Temperatures are beautifully comfortable, upper 50s and low 60s. Those will continue through 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. Eventually, we'll have temperatures that get us into the upper 70s, low 80s. So we'll stop for today. It's going to be a nice afternoon, very, very comfortable. As far as what this means, though, long term, we're not going to have any rain between now and the upcoming weekend. That means that gardening needs to be done by us, the watering needs to be done by us, and picking the hours to do it are crucial when it starts to get hotter later this week. So here's your outdoor forecast: 67 at 9, 79 degrees at noon, and 82 degrees at 3 p.m. The watering, yeah, here we go. If it's a green box, think like a stoplight, that means you're good to go. You want to do it right around just after sunrise, really about an hour or two after, before we start getting the heating of the day really happening. And then you want to do it right before sunset. The hours that are in red, I want to stress this too, especially when we start hitting the 90s for high temperatures. It's going to hurt your plants more than it helps them to water them during those really hot hours. Here's a look at almost a eerie look at our Metro Center camera. Sun trying to come up. Still some cloud cover out there. Still areas of some fog as well. The fog will lift. The sun will take over. We'll hit 80 degrees this afternoon, 81 tomorrow, 85 on Wednesday, and then the heat takes over, and it does not let go. Takes us all the way into and out of the upcoming weekend with the high as hot as 96 degrees on Sunday.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you to the very latest happening here on I-40 and I-840. This is over in Dickson County. You can see there traffic moving along pretty well. We are dealing with minor delays as you make that drive in from the west side of town because of the thick fog coming through in that particular region. So we'll continue to follow things out there for you, let you know whatever else we come across. But right now we're accident free, but we're not fog free. We're dealing with that fog out there to the west side of town. And not just in Dickson, but in places like Paris and McEwen, we're also dealing with fog there as well. Well, check this out. After a mid-state astronaut and his crewmate arrived at the International Space Station, they're both giving us a tour of the Boeing Starliner that took them into space for its very first crew flight. That's with actual people on board is what they mean. Now, the astronauts lifted off Wednesday morning from Cape Canaveral at the space station. The flight tests will help make sure that the Starliner is prepared to make regular trips to the ISS. Now, the Starliner has flown 2 uncrewed orbital flights already. Here's a mid-state astronaut, Butch Wilmore, who grew up over in Mount Juliet and went to Tennessee Tech, showing us around a little bit.
It looks probably a little cramped, and it's actually fairly roomy for just Sonny and myself, with just the 2 of us. Obviously, you don't need a large cockpit, so it's actually sized perfectly for us as far as for controlling the spacecraft.
Well, you can't be claustrophobic in there. Tomorrow, Butch Wilmore will be speaking to students from Tennessee Tech, his alma mater, live from the International Space Station. Well, the Food and Drug Administration has expanded approval for one particular vaccine against RSV. Now, the department expanded approval for the vaccine made by GSK to extend to adults down to 50 years old who are at higher risk of contracting the respiratory virus. Now, the company previously asked the FDA to expand approval back in February. The next step for the vaccine is to have the recommendation approved by the Center for Disease Control. Well, coming up, hot weather means summer fun, but it could also mean some discomfort for your pet. We're going to tell you how to keep your pets healthy and happy as summer begins. Well, thanks for waking up with us right here on Fox 17 News this morning. We're your only live.org. 4:55 is the time. Live look there over downtown Nashville, and boy, you know what a difference a few days makes. On Friday, when we showed you this shot, it was completely covered with stages and booths as they were preparing for the CMA Fest. Here on this Monday, what's CMA Fest? When did that happen? What are you talking about? It's wide open. Looks like we're back to business there in downtown Nashville. So we'll continue to follow things out there for you. We are dealing with some fog out there in certain areas. We'll tell you more about that as the morning goes on. Wow, made quick work. In Ohio, a thief stole a package seconds after it was delivered on a doorstep. Now take a look here at the surveillance footage. It was captured there in Ohio, in Columbus to be exact, a FedEx driver dropping off an Apple Watch right before a man runs up and takes the package. The owner of the Apple Watch says he hopes the video will help catch the thief. Boy, you just never know. You can see the drop-off happening right there, FedEx driver, and then look, here comes somebody and yeah, I'll take that. What? What? I mean, I don't know how they can do it any better. Anyway, hopefully they'll catch the person responsible for that. You're brazen. At least wait for the guy to get back in the truck, right? No? Okay. As temperatures continue to rise, animal experts are sharing some tips to help make sure that your pets are safe as the increase in the heat is coming. Now, according to one shelter out in California, owners should look out for heavy panting and sluggish dogs, as certain breeds are more vulnerable than others to the heat. The shelter says when the dogs are out for walks, it's better to do it in the early morning hours or perhaps in the evening away from the heat of the day. Experts also suggest putting ice in your dog's water bowl and having a doggy pool perhaps in your backyard. When it comes to cats, experts say they are very resilient. They say cats also find a way to cool themselves off better than dogs do and can crawl and fit into spots that dogs simply can't.
Great advice. We're going to need that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Also, if the ground feels hot to your hand, it's hot to your pet's paws too. Keep that in mind. And paw burns can actually end up being permanent or cause scarring. Let's just not start off the summer on a bad note in any way. Pleasant though right now. Let's talk about the good things. Humidity, none of it. Feels great. What isn't perfect, though, is the fact that because the humidity is down and our temperatures have fallen to the very similar spot that creates humidity, we've got the dew points that are meeting our temperatures, giving us some fog outside. Keep that in mind. Dense fog will be likely with us here until we reach well into the daylight hours. We're talking probably 8, 9 o'clock before things begin to lift. Look at the weekend. Please enjoy today. It'll be 80 and comfortable. And if you don't like the 90s, just start kind of trying to cool down your place before we get to the 90s. Keep the shades closed, keep all that going on here because 94 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. I'm being conservative with that temperature on Sunday. Sunday and Monday could be in the upper 90s both days. Taking a look here, you can get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. Any updates to the forecast, any alerts to foggy mornings, any severe weather alerts, you'll get them straight there on your screen.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 4:58. Here's a look at I-40 at I-840. That's over in the Dickson County area where we are continuing to deal with heavy fog out there. We also believe we've got a disabled vehicle, but it's just tough to see in the foggy conditions like this. Now that the sun is starting to come up, that fog we think will start to dissipate here very soon. But right now, still dealing with that heavy fog there. We're going to show you some other areas of town coming up here soon. Where Howard University is cutting their ties to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. This is after recent video that was released. The incident took place in 2016 that appeared to show him attacking the R&B singer and his then girlfriend Cassie. Now the university plans to not only rescind Sean Combs' honorary degree, but also to cut financial ties with him. This means the end of a $1 million contribution that Combs and his foundation have been funding to the university in forms of a scholarship. Last month, Combs admitted to beating his now ex-girlfriend Cassie in a hotel in 2000. Then released footage of the incident. Combs then took to social media where he called his actions inexcusable. We will continue to follow this story, of course. Fox 17 News is giving you a chance to receive 2 tickets for Brew at the Zoo. It's taking place Friday, June the 14th at the Nashville Zoo. You can enjoy animals, live music, local food trucks, and dozens of craft beers at this unique after-hours event. Scan the QR code and go to Fox 17 News or fox17.com/contest for your chance to win. This is a 21 and older event. Message and data rates do apply. Remember that website, fox17.com/contest.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, marking 6 months after deadly tornadoes ripped through the mid-state. We're taking a look at how the recovery process is ongoing.
Well, the coast is clear after CMA Fest. Things have wrapped up now, and a lot of folks have left town or are leaving as we speak. We'll take a look at the cleanup that is still in progress and the next big event coming to Nashville.
And starting off here with some fog for the first time in quite a while here on this getaway day for many folks. We'll look at that and take a look ahead to 4, 5, 6 90-degree days in a row possible. We're cranking up the heat.
All right. Yeah, a lot of fog you can see right behind us here. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. I drove through this on my way in, and it was thick, so be careful out there. Let's get right to our top stories here on your Monday morning, beginning with the story that will continue after last week. It's the testimony in the Hunter Biden federal gun trial. All right, the president's son on trial accused of illegally having a gun and lying on the forms in order to get it. It is possible he could take the stand. President Biden claimed last week that he would not pardon his son if he is found guilty.
All right, keeping a very close eye on that. Meanwhile, international headlines. The Israeli military rescued 4 hostages from Gaza. Hundreds of Palestinians were killed or hurt in this particular operation. And now the head of the World Food Program says they're suspending operations at the U.S.-built pier that's located over in Gaza. We're getting some more updates about this story, and we'll continue updating as we continue on this Monday morning.
All right, another top story that we're following here for you as we take a closer look at the May job numbers. You might have heard Justin mention this in the 4 o'clock hour. We did get some encouraging news last week when it came to jobs. Most of those are in healthcare and government. The Labor Department says employers added 272,000 new jobs. That's more than predicted. Despite the growth in jobs, though, as we first reported last week, the unemployment rate is now up to 4%. That's the highest jobless rate since January of 2022.
Well, back here in Middle Tennessee, we understand 6 months ago, mid-state neighbors woke up to devastation. Showing you video right behind us here. Tornadoes struck through the mid-state on December 9th. Those tornadoes claiming 7 lives. 4 people died in Clarksville, and then 3 other lives we understand were taken over in Madison.
So as we look back on what happened here 6 months ago, we just, take a look at some of the damage, and we continue to monitor as well the cleanup efforts, how families are rebuilding in places like Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville, and Springfield and Gallatin. Hundreds of homes damaged or destroyed, and so many folks have come together since then. Many of them working quickly to get everything cleaned up, starting to rebuild and then providing help for families. We have both local and federal governments stepping in to provide disaster assistance in the areas that were declared disaster zones.
Yeah, for folks who are going to be busy cleaning up this week, the weather is going to cooperate. Let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. Hey there, Greg. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back, Erica. Good to have you back in studio with us, even though I know it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You give us a little extra smile every day. Taking a look here. Dense fog advisory, y'all. We're doing this. This is one of those mornings where it's going to be a little bit slower here north of I-40. All the way through at least 8 o'clock this morning. One of our foggier starts we've had in recent memory when it comes to a morning, and it's going to slow you down. Taking a look here, that is the big impact to your morning drive. Nothing else going to be happening all week long when it comes to any rain. Use the low beams, and again, that fog advisory north of I-40 through 8 a.m. It does not mean that as soon as 8 a.m. hits and the fog advisory is lifted, that it just goes away. It just starts to get a little bit lighter. So we'll call it caution hitting the roads here. We're still all clear when it comes to Code Red, just a lot hotter by the end of the week. So yes, it's going to be nice out, but you got to beat the heat. Take a look. 80 degrees today, 81 tomorrow, 85 on Wednesday, and then there we go. Our 90s begin. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday and Saturday, and 96 degrees on Sunday. We just wrapped up CMA Fest, another big music festival, and it's Thursday through Friday into Saturday and Sunday. We're talking Bonnaroo. I'll have your forecast for you coming up in a little bit.
Thank you, Greg. 505 steer clear traffic right now. Looking foggy out there. The good news right now, no major crashes to report, but I will say this, you need to leave a good amount of space between you and the car in front of you this morning. The fog is very thick. Visibility definitely reduced in places like Dickson County and Robertson County this morning. This is a live look from I-40 at the 840 junction. So this is a camera that is elevated, yes, but I will tell you just from experience this morning, that fog is also thick at ground level. So be careful. We'll check in on steer clear traffic again in just a few minutes.
Right now, though, after days of music mania in downtown Nashville, CMA Fest is packing up. Our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is on the scene in Lower Broadway, showing you a live look outside of the Hard Rock Cafe, where the Hard Rock stage was set up for a lot of action. I know, Jen, you were out there on Friday at the Dr. Pepper stage.
Yes, so I was just down the road from this at Ascend Amphitheater. They had the Dr. Pepper amp stage set up down there. I will say this, Friday, I think out of all 4 days of CMA Fest, Friday was the best weather.
Who did you get to meet? You said not Uncle Cracker, but Grandpa Cracker.
Well, he's just a little, he's a little, you know, he's a little older now, but still out there putting on quite a show. And Marin Taylor was out there. She was fantastic. And when Uncle Cracker was out there, he did the classics like Follow Me, Drift Away.
Did you know they recorded a special that's going to air later this month?
As a matter of fact, we were talking about it. Now listen, we can't talk about it because it's airing on another network.
Yeah, we're not going to talk too much about it.
But it was a great weekend, I think, all in all for CMA Fest. About 90,000 people packing downtown Nashville.
Incredible. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk about the search for the person who shot a car and injured an 18-year-old over in Antioch, where police
a case of road rage in Antioch that's left an 18-year-old with injuries. Police responding to the 3500 block of Murfreesboro Pike just after 6 o'clock Saturday evening. And what you're looking at here is what appears to be bullet holes in one of those cars involved. There were 2 cars that slammed into each other here. So again, Metro Police still investigating. We understand that 18-year-old did get rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
And hey, go ahead and take a look at this video. A car fire captured on video yesterday afternoon. Smoky Bar News reporting a blaze happened on I-24 just before exit 40. I mean, look at this. As of right now, it's not clear whether or not anyone was hurt in this particular fire, but we'll continue to get some more questions answered.
Well, and I'll tell you this, that shell of that car is still on the side of the interstate. So if you're driving on I-24 up near Jolton later today and you see people like pumping the brakes.
That's why.
That's why, because the shell of that car is still sitting on the side of the road.
Let's talk about sports now. Rain in Knoxville with lightning did cause a delay at the start of last night's Game 3 against the Evansville team over in the Super Regional, but the Vols, they got it going.
Listen, so my family and I were watching this game last night and we were trying to have a conversation and the conversation kept getting interrupted by home runs.
Yes.
I mean to tell you, it was like one after the other after the other. The Vols went into last night's game with the #1 seed, the second time in program history that the Vols have taken the top spot. And despite the delayed start, the Vols made quick work of putting away the Evansville Purple Aces. The Purple Aces scored just 1 run in the first inning and then scoreless the rest of the game.
Oof.
And the Vols, when we say dominating every inning, the final was 12-1.
Well, the Vols now advance to the College World Series in Omaha, and they're going to take on Florida State. Now, this will be the team's 3rd appearance in the big game in just 4 years.
The Vols had already had 5 home runs in that game last night when I went to bed.
There you go.
It was wild. Let's talk Kentucky, because the Vols aren't the only team headed to the College World Series that y'all will be following. Kentucky making history with its first College World Series entry.
The Wildcats beat Oregon State 3-2 yesterday. SEC teams now make up at least half the contenders in the World Series, with Tennessee and Kentucky also joined by Florida and Texas A&M.
Now, if Georgia were to beat NC State tonight, that would make 5. They're on a roll. They're on a roll. It's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's going to be a fun World Series there in Omaha. It's 5:12 now. Let's check in with Greg.
Yeah, coming up next, Weathermaker has nothing to do with anything coming out of the sky. We're talking about a heat wave that might settle in for quite some time. We'll find that for you.
And depending on where you're waking up this morning, take a look at this. Fog could be an issue for you. This is a live look, Dickson County, I-40 at the I-840 junction. Just take it slow out there. And Welcome back. 5:14 is the time. Right now we're showing you a live look on the Nashville skyline, and your eyes are not deceiving you. It is a little bit foggy out there on this Monday morning, so do give yourself a little bit of extra time. We were checking in on our steer clear traffic updates to show you fog in other areas, but here, now you see the sun coming up at Nissan Stadium. Just a beautiful shot after a very busy CMA Fest weekend.
5:15 now, and a government shakeup in the middle of war. A top Israeli leader just resigned, accusing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of mismanaging the war effort.
Well, that particular announcement came one day after Israeli troops rescued 4 of their hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza. Here's Christine Fazal with more details.
An emotional homecoming for 4 hostages freed Saturday by Israeli troops, all kidnapped at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. 26-year-old Noah Argamami made famous that day when video of her capture by Hamas terrorists circulated around the globe. The operation happened in the light of day. Israeli Defense Forces faced heavy fire throughout and lost one of their own, Commander Aaron Zamora.
Israeli forces have been preparing for this rescue mission for weeks. They underwent intensive training. They risked their lives to save the lives of our hostages.
But it was also one of the bloodiest days in Israel's war in Gaza, now surpassing 8 months. Gaza's health ministry says at least 274 Palestinians, including dozens of women and children, were killed. The hostages held in a densely populated refugee camp. Hamas claiming the dead include other Israeli hostages who were being held. With acknowledgement from the White House, the U.S. assisted in the raid with intelligence, but not military boots on the ground.
We won't stop working until all the hostages come home and a ceasefire is reached. That is essential to happen.
Support for Israel's war in Gaza, with 36,000 Palestinians now reported dead, central to protests taking place around the world, including outside of the White House.
United will never be defeated.
Protesters holding up a symbolic red line, but also defacing a statue. Many insisting they won't support Joe Biden or Donald Trump in the upcoming election. The debate over how much and for how long to support Israel is a contentious one on Capitol Hill as well. Many left-leaning lawmakers furious at leaders in both parties for inviting Prime Minister Netanyahu to address Congress later next month, an invitation he has accepted. I'm Christine Frazau reporting.
Christine, thank you. We have more world headlines here for your Monday morning. President Biden and the First Lady visiting an American cemetery near Paris to honor the U.S. soldiers and Marines killed during World War I.
And Biden says America shows up when needed. Listen.
I think it is a measure of a country's support for democratic values that they honor those who risked their lives and lost their lives. The idea that I'd come to Normandy and not make this short trip here to pay tribute. And it's the same story. Think about it. America showed up. America showed up.
Well, Biden's visit wrapped up his 5-day trip to France, which included a commemoration for the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Bringing it back here to home and the start of a brand new work week, and we've got CMA Fest behind us, but Greg thinking about Bonnaroo, thinking about Pilgrimage Fest, even later. I mean,
you going to Bonnaroo?
It's just that time of year in Nashville.
No. Okay.
I'm not, and if I was, I would be going, woo, how are we going to stay cool? We could not have had a better temperature outlook this past weekend. It really was gorgeous. We had the dodge of the showers here and there, but Bonnaroo, gear up for it. I'm going to show you in a minute. It's going to be downright hot every single day. All 4 of them easily hitting 90 degrees. And we know it's a big camping event as well. So what does it mean for overnight temperatures? Well, right now we're waking up to 60 degrees after a very cool night. That has led to some fog in many areas north and west of the downtown area. We're going to keep our temperature right near where it's at right now until around 8 o'clock. And then they'll begin to climb back into the low 70s through 10 o'clock and mid to upper 70s near 80 degrees as we go into the afternoon hours. We're talking early afternoon. We'll peak right around 80 today and tomorrow. Good day for the golf game. No wind. Once the fog is up, morning tee times will stay in the 60s again and 70s. Afternoon tee times will stay in the 70s and low 80s. Low humidity. First of several great days in a row. So what does it mean for the car wash? Go for it every day of the week. Earlier you do it in the week, the more days it'll last you because we don't have rain at all Monday through Friday. It'll also be a little more comfortable. Once we start hitting those 90s, it's not going to feel so great. So here it is, Bonnaroo, Manchester. 90 on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, 92 on Sunday. Overnight temperatures likely going to stay in the upper 60s and low 70s. And there will be a little more humidity by the end of the week than there is today. Keep that in mind. Right now, we're just trying to navigate through a little bit of cloud cover and that morning fog. Your 7-day forecast coming your way in about 5 minutes.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out to I-40 and I-840. We've been watching this camera for quite some time. Because of the fog here in this area, it is really thick out there as you make your way in and out of the Dickson County area. So please keep that in mind. It's not just here in Dickson, but other areas of town. They're also seeing fog there as well. So again, getting outside in Waverly, McEwing, making that drive into town, we're going to be seeing conditions a lot like this for the foreseeable future. We are dealing with one other thing to show you, and that's I-24 Haywood Lane. Disabled tractor trailer right here on the shoulder of the road. We'll continue to follow that. Hopefully they've got help on the way. The traffic can get by, but it could cause minor delays, especially once a tow truck gets here.
Justin, thank you. Right now in world news, French President Emmanuel Macron is dissolving his country's government and now calling for snap elections. This comes after far-right parties made sweeping gains in the European Union's parliamentary election. And now we're getting some more updates. 4 days of voting wrapped up just yesterday across the EU's 27 member states. Apart from France, initial exit polls showing gains for far-right parties in both Austria and in Germany. But the center-right European People's Party is predicted to go ahead and keep the parliament's majority.
New this morning, a Nashville judge is making a plea for more investment in mental health. Now, Judge Melissa Blackburn says the lack of mental health services being available across the city of Nashville and across the state is a big reason why there's such a big repeat offender rate. The same people committing crimes over and over again. She's asking the city to create a brand new position to try and track some of those folks going into mental health services to make sure they can try to stop crime before it happens.
What do we do to better serve them? How do we keep them from being rearrested? I mean, the whole purpose of this, Council Lady, is to keep individuals from being rearrested and to try to give them the supported housing, the medication, the support, whatever we need to do, and try to change their life earlier in life and change that trajectory so they don't end up with us now at this point in their life.
Now, Judge Blackburn is talking to the Metro Council because she wants city funding for this. She wants to work with the health department to try and create a better tracking and data system. She says too much of the mental health data is being lost to, in particular, services who don't share the data among other hospitals and the criminal justice system. It can be very hard to keep track of, which is why she says there's such a big repeat type of offenders that are happening out there as far as crime is concerned.
5:25, taking a look here. Brand new this morning in the last 15 minutes or so. We've expanded our dense fog advisory to almost the entire viewing area until 8 a.m. So still until the same time, but now it's for basically all of us. We're all waking up to areas of dense fog. It doesn't mean everyone has the fog, but there are pockets in most of our counties here this morning that are reducing visibility greatly. We've been finding them throughout the morning. We'll keep finding them until that fog does lift a little bit later. That is the biggest influence to your forecast this morning by far. Could slow you down through 8 o'clock. Again, this is just for the morning hours. Everything else looks better. Let's talk about temperature. 80 degrees later on this afternoon, 81 tomorrow. Back-to-back days that are very nice. 85 degrees for your Wednesday. Then we crank up the heat. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday and Saturday. Nighttime temperature is going to be in the 60s and 70s going into the upcoming weekend. One thing you don't see there until Sunday of the upcoming weekend is any chance for rain. So this will all be about how the heat, sun, and humidity work together throughout the week.
Steer clear traffic on I-24 at Haywood Lane. We've been watching the situation over there involving an 18-wheeler a short time ago over on the shoulder of the road. Thankfully, it's been moved out of the way and it is no longer a problem for you as you get out there this morning. We're doing okay. Other things across town are also looking good. Mount Juliet into downtown at 26 minutes. Murfreesboro, 51 minutes. Franklin, 27 minutes in from the south side. All these times we'll be climbing here throughout the morning. We're going to take a closer look at some of the fog that's out there. Plus tell you about conditions near the airport coming up in a few. Well, a man is facing charges for breaking into cars, but that's not the real story. It's where he was breaking into the cars that has got people wondering what was happening. Okay, we're gonna.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News This Morning, 5:29, and right now the Grand Ole Opry is welcoming its newest member. She doesn't really need an introduction. I think you might recognize her, but we'll talk more about Lainey Wilson in minutes.
And taking a look right now,
Ooh, wow.
Just look.
Wowzer.
Between a little bit of cloud cover, the fog that is just hovering over downtown, and this camera is actually shooting down onto the fog that's making its way down to ground level. This is a live look at Nissan Stadium. They're still cleaning up from over the weekend, and we're going to see how much longer this fog is going to last. This is honestly going to be expanding before it decreases. More of that coming up in the forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us over to I-840 and I-40. It's there, I promise. It's down below, but the fog has made its way over there to Dickson County, so we're going to show you how this is impacting your drive coming up in a few.
I wish we could take that shot one more time, showing Nissan Stadium and the fog and the sunrise.
We probably could if we sweet-talked Mel.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
This is a beautiful way to start a Monday morning.
Okay,
especially after a very busy CMA Fest.
Mel is our director in the back, and she's just the best. Mel, thank you, because now I'm going to
She's taking a picture, so don't come back to the
picture of it.
Don't come back to us at the desk. She's not sitting down yet. But we do want to say good morning and happy Monday to all y'all. Thank you so much for waking up with Fox 17 News this morning.
I'm Jen Waddell, Erica Glover. The gang's all here, ready for you to kick off a Monday. Let's start our top story right now in Operation Crime and Justice. Lebanon police catching up to a guy by the name of James Muncie. Police say Muncie has now been identified as the prime suspect in several car break-ins at the Little Lambs Child Care right off McGregor Street.
Well, he is now charged with 3 counts of burglary, theft, and vandalism. It's a story you can read more about at fox17.com.
So a daycare targeted there. And right now, after days worth of wild shows and a lot of good times in the heart of Lower Broadway, CMA Fest has all wrapped up for its 51st year, bringing in, they were expecting about 90,000 people each day of the 4 days.
That's incredible. Listen, I was out of town, so I did not get to see all the action. I know, Jen, you were down there on Friday. Did it feel like that many people in the area?
Yeah, I mean, we went there. If y'all were watching Friday morning, you know I jumped off the set a little early because we had to get down there and get parked and get set up, and it was gorgeous weather. I would say because we were there early, right, like we didn't see the full effect of the crowds, but they moved in so fast. Like the first act was at 10 o'clock. And then by 11 o'clock, it was absolutely packed.
I saw on our social media accounts for Fox Nashville, they had the big fans out there misting everyone down, which is very much necessary. But another fantastic year for CMA Fest. And some folks are just waking up this morning and perhaps heading to the airport after all the activities.
Yes, thanks for coming. Hope everybody had a good time. And we know a lot of locals went too and had a good time. So the weekend has passed. Now we're going to look ahead to Father's Day weekend, which is coming up this weekend. And so we were curious this morning, have you bought a Father's Day gift yet?
Okay.
Well, you got time. 72% of you say no, you haven't. Poor dad. Sometimes, you know, it's a last minute thing. Although I guess sometimes that's true for moms too.
I don't know. I'm in the same bucket. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we haven't either, but we'll get on it. So Father's Day is this upcoming Sunday. If you want to vote in our poll, maybe give us some thoughts on what you might buy this year. If you've got good gift ideas, leave us a comment. Scan the QR code right there on your screen.
It always makes me laugh, though, with Father's Day, and we'll talk to Greg about this and whether that's going to be good. But dads always get, what, grills, lawn care stuff to do more work.
Yeah.
Although sometimes moms get that too.
Well, you know.
That's also very true. And Father's Day itself, just please don't make Dad mow the lawn when it's 96 degrees outside on Sunday.
Well, hold on now. Maybe it's the perfect day for Dad.
No.
Okay.
96 degrees isn't the perfect day for everybody.
I mean, but if Dad just wants to get out of the house and get away from everybody.
And some peace.
That's also very true. There are many different ways to look at the entire thing. Taking a look at this. This is brand new here this morning. Within the last half hour, they've expanded our dense fog advisory. It's still until 8 o'clock, but now it is for all of the viewing area. These counties that are down here right along the Alabama state line, those are operated by the Huntsville National Weather Service. I guarantee you, just because you're the little blip on the radar that doesn't have a gray box does not mean you're not seeing some fog to influence the beginning of your day. And here it is. We don't see the map lit up with this much color usually, and you're going to go, that's not that impressive. You just showed us all these gray boxes. Well, this is visibility of a mile or less. So a good third of us that are waking up right now and watching and hanging out together to start this Monday morning have a visibility of less than a mile. So just keep that in mind. Downtown, it's really hard to have it creep in at ground level downtown itself, but get just outside of town. You're seeing it 60 degrees right now. On our way to 81 degrees later on this afternoon. We'll talk about a big heat wave coming our way, coming up in your forecast.
Zero clear traffic at I-840 at I-40. This is out there on the west side. As you can see, their traffic is moving, well, kind of. It's lost in the fog there over there on the east side coming through, west side coming through Dickson County. I would advise turning on the headlights if they're not on out there in this area. It is low visibility out there right now. You can get by there, but the fog is so thick that we can barely see the cars even passing now at this point. So really, really thick fog. And it's not just here. Over in the city of Dickson itself, we're seeing also quite a bit of fog, and it's starting to leak its way into Metro Nashville. So we're going to continue to follow more of that. If you're going out near the airport, we're looking good out there. Busy day yesterday. Today, a little lighter.
I'm a little bit biased, but there can never be too many women at the Grand Ole Opry.
All right, take a look at this video. Country music royalty Trisha Yearwood speaking right there, along with her husband Garth Brooks. They surprised star Lainey Wilson at the Grand Ole Opry this weekend to welcome her as the newest Opry member.
This right here is the highest honor for me. It feels like that stamp of approval from everybody that stood right here.
Well, Wilson said she remembers sitting out in the Opry audience at the age of 9, dreaming of one day standing in the Opry circle as a member of the house that country music built. So dreams can come true. Congratulations.
Well, happening now, a Mid-State Dam is going to go ahead and be closed for repairs, which does mean you might have to take a detour and plan ahead. Here's the area that we're talking about in particular. Take a look right here at the map that we're showing you on your screen. Centerville Dam in DeKalb County is going to be closed from 8 a.m. this morning until 4 p.m. this afternoon. That means no driving along State Route 141 right there at the top of the dam. The recreation areas near this dam will also be closed.
Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning, a shakeup in Israel as a prime minister main rival hands over his position. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, 5:39, and a really neat sunrise here on this Monday morning. It's not often that we get to see a shot like this. This is out, I think this is toward Nissan Stadium. It's kind of hard to make out, but we've got a little bit of cloud cover and definitely that thick layer of fog, the sun just coming up over top of that layer of fog there. So be careful out there. We already have a crash that Justin is following. We're going to get to that here in just a minute and steer clear traffic.
Right now, though, we are covering international headlines. In Israel, a rival of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced his party's withdrawal just yesterday.
Apologies, the sound is not there, but this is centrist minister Benny Gantz, who accused Benjamin Netanyahu of putting his political survival before the country's security needs. Gantz had previously threatened to resign if Netanyahu did not come up with a new plan for post-war Gaza. Gantz also called for early elections this fall, echoing weekly protest across Israel. His resignation unlikely to really have any kind of immediate impact, though.
We're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah, we're navigating that fog the best that we can. All of our cameras still picking it up here. Dense fog advisory until 8 o'clock this morning. That's supposed to be downtown. It's there somewhere. Buildings haven't gone anywhere, but you just can't see anything. Visibility less than a mile for almost all of us to start off this morning. And now you might look out your window and go, well, I don't have the fog right here. Yeah, drive a half mile on the road. The odds are good you're going to find some here. I've been watching this very carefully when it comes to the airport. This is a big getaway day for many of the folks that were in town over the weekend. Not seeing many travel implications from at least the airport standard of things here. 67 degrees at 9 o'clock, 79 degrees at noon, and 82 at BNA. Tons of sunshine here once the fog finally lifts later on this morning. I'm only seeing 9 delays right now and no cancellations, holding firmly at 60 degrees at the airport. Temperatures in the low 80s later on this afternoon.
Circular traffic at not anything. This is Highway 46. Let's try that. Highway 46 out here in Dickson. That's where we are dealing with heavy fog back there beyond our car dealership. You can see that fog really swallowing up the traffic along 46 here. I-40 not too far from here at all, just down the road over here. So this is part of your drive getting in this morning. We've seen it here in Nashville, that fog moving its way across near Nissan Stadium, but it is on the ground west of the city there in places like Dickson County. So heads up there. Major road work taking place on I-24 near Highway 231. This is in the Murfreesboro area. They've got traffic shut down to one lane here. You can get by, just a long line of traffic here. So give yourself an extra 10 minutes getting in from Murfreesboro this morning. If you are south of New Salem Highway, if you're on the other side of this, you're fine. It's just to the south of New Salem where you're having this problem.
In a couple of minutes here on Fox 17 News, the district attorney who led the hush money case against former President Donald Trump says he's willing to testify in Congress. Right now, we're talking about politics and making headlines this Monday morning. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg says he has agreed to testify before Congress.
All right, so this is the man who headed up the hush money case against former President Donald Trump, who says any date would have to come after the former president's sentencing, which is scheduled for next month. Alvin Bragg came forward with his willingness to testify in a letter Friday to Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. A Manhattan jury, of course, found Mr. Trump guilty on 34 felony counts last month. Republicans on Capitol Hill have, been saying that this was all, politically motivated and basically a witch hunt against the former president. They have discredited the conviction.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bog Durham Injury Law.
Well, Nashville's cat community is now sounding a desperate alarm. There are no vacancies, they say, for stray cats anywhere at any of the government shelters or the rescue centers.
Fox 17's Dennis Farrier has more on the effort now to save those little feline friends in this morning's Farrier Files.
Dogs may be man's best friend, but there are plenty of people who fancy cats. Nevertheless, Nashville is overrun with unwanted cats.
This is Mowgli.
This is the kitten corral at a foster home for the Music City Animal Rescue. You might think most of the stray and unwanted cats are housed at Metro Animal Control or the Nashville Humane Association. But the truth is, almost half of cats in shelters are living in cat rescues like this one. Vicki Harris runs the Music City Animal Rescue.
There's a limited space. Animal control is a physical location, and there is only so much they can do. There's only so much room. There's only so many people to take care of them. And they are currently and have been at capacity for months.
Most of you probably don't realize, even those of you who just love animals, that most of the stray kittens in Middle Tennessee are not in the animal shelter or in the Humane Society shelter. They are in rescues. And they're a lot of work, and there's a lot of kittens.
A shelter is no place for a nursing mom or tiny babies. There's just the staff, you know, they just don't have that, and they need that extra support and the extra attention that a rescue can give.
Vicki Harris can't stand to see cats suffer, and so she spends about $178 a kitten getting them ready for adoption. As generous as she is, she's overwhelmed.
Last month, we took in 4 moms, pregnant moms, with babies. Each one of them had basically 5 to 6 kittens apiece. We took in 18 other cats and kittens, and then we had, that's just from Metro Animal Control.
Harris is tied into the cat rescue community. She knows exactly where all the cats are being kept, and while she and her friends are doing everything they can, she knows this problem is just too big. There are too many cats that need a home.
I don't think we're going to spay and neuter our way out of this situation.
These cat rescues could really use some help. Most of the donations go to the animal shelter or Humane Association, but these little rescues are doing big lifting. We'll get you some contact information online. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Durham Injury Law.
5:49 is the time. If you're waking up with us this Monday morning, you're going to be able to enjoy some sunshine.
Lots of it on the way.
Once you look at the fog, got to get that out of here, and then we're looking beautiful. Yeah, rest of the day, rest of the week is only going to be sunny. We do get pretty hot by the end of the week. I would say take advantage of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when it comes to comfort, low humidity, sunshine, good days for some yard work, good days for some gardening, outdoor eating, all of that. Do it now before that heat does take over on Thursday. Your lunchtime forecast today, 77 degrees at 11 o'clock, 79 at noon, and 81 degrees at 1 p.m. Again, tons of sun. Once this fog does lift here in the next 3-4 hours, we'll be good to go. We're getting close, though, here to seeing the UV index really cranking up. This is for today and tomorrow. It's going to be in the moderate to high category, about 25 minutes, and you start to get a sunburn. Keep that in mind. Even on the cooler, more comfortable days, you can still get that burn. You can also still get it through the cloud cover. So let's just finish your forecast through food like we just started. So that was your lunchtime forecast here. Maybe you're firing up the grill later on today. It's good evening for it. 80 degrees at 5 o'clock. 79 at 6, and then 75 degrees at 7 p.m. First half of the forecast looks great. If we could just stop it on Wednesday, we'd all be happy. But look at this. Maybe you're itching for a little bit of heat. You like the 90-degree temperatures. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday and Saturday, 96 degrees on Sunday. So Father's Day, it's going to be a cooker. Not just the heat. Humidity will build into the weekend. We have 72 more comfortable hours before we move into a summer pattern.
Steer clear traffic. We are dealing with a bit of a closure there on I-24 at Highway 231. As you make that drive in from the Murfreesboro area, you can see it for yourself. Traffic is moving out there pretty well, despite the fact we do have a crash there on I-24 at Highway 231. So please, it's not a crash, it's road work out there, construction that's taking place. Not just here, it goes all the way back to I-24 Joe B. Jackson. So again, this is planned construction. You can see the arrow pointing everybody over, squeezing everyone over to that one lane. Now, this would normally be a very large highway where you can get by. Look at all these lanes being shut down by this construction. Hopefully, once they get the patchwork done there, they can reopen the interstate for you.
Justin, thank you. 5:51 is the time right now. Happy Monday to you. Still to come, we're going to get you more international headlines. Haiti's new prime minister in the hospital just days after a transfer of power.
And how about this story? A thief gets a package right under a delivery driver's nose. What? The full story in a couple of minutes.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. And on this Monday, June 10th, we got a foggy start to the day. Some of you might have had some rain showers yesterday. I know we did at our house north of town, and now we've got this fog really settling in thick in some spots, and the sun hasn't been able to burn it off just yet. So keep an eye on that as you head out the door this morning, and we're going to keep an eye on it for you too and let you know any areas of concern.
We're also keeping a very close eye on international headlines. Haiti's prime minister is reportedly right now in stable condition after being hospitalized. It happened on Saturday.
All right, let's get you the details. The prime minister's main circle in his office released a statement saying that Gary Conille was not feeling very good after a week of intense activities, but they didn't really go into any other details except to thank people who came to visit him. Now, he was only sworn in as Haiti's interim leader on June 3rd, so it's only been a week, chosen for the role by a transition council and given the task of restoring stability in Haiti, because what you're looking at here shows the main concerns there right now. The gang violence has absolutely ravaged communities there again. I mean, on top of already desperate conditions for people who live there. So the gang violence has been a primary concern, especially since he was sworn in.
Well, listen, we talk about porch pirates a lot. In Ohio, though, a thief stole a package seconds after it was delivered on a doorstep. I mean, look at this.
Right in front of the delivery guy.
He didn't even waste any time. The FedEx driver dropped off an Apple Watch. Right then, a man runs up and just takes the package with the delivery person still there on the porch. And he's like, what just happened? The Apple Watch says, the owner rather, says that he hopes the video helps police track down.
Well, it should. And here's why. Did you notice that blue car driving by? So if they replay the video here again, okay, so this guy jumps out of a very distinct blue sedan. And it's almost as if he was following the FedEx driver. Because the FedEx driver pulls up, you see that blue car come around the FedEx truck into that person's driveway. The guy jumps out of that blue car and then runs up to take it. Let's see if it'll play again.
The delivery driver also has this look like, no, you're kidding me, right? I'm being punked. But it really happened over in Ohio.
Here we go. Watch the blue car.
Pull up
on
the porch. Yeah. There we go. But you're right, to your point. He probably was just following that driver around.
Wait, a crime of opportunity. Wow.
You gotta be careful. Hey, we're gonna check in now with our weather report for this very hot week that we have on tap.
That we are. We're doing that by meeting our dog of the day here. We have our dog of the day, JD. This is fresh into the weather center here for you. And yeah, this is going to be one of those days where get the dog walks in as frequently as possible today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Everything changes in the forecast very quickly once we make our way into Thursday and Friday. So JD sent in by Luke. Oh, we got a big old boy there too. So maybe do early morning, late in the day dog walks. More than one's always better than none, right? Taking a look here at a forecast that's going to continue to build the heat after the first 2 to 3 days. Morning is gorgeous. We just have the fog. Watch out for morning dog walkers, morning exercisers that are out there hitting the road this morning. 59 degrees at 6 o'clock, goes to 60 at 7, 64 degrees at 8, and 67 degrees will be your temperature at 9 a.m. We'll be in the lower 80s later on this afternoon. A very comfortable and calm place to be with no humidity and no rain in the forecast for the next 5 days. How do you submit your dogs of the day? You go to my Facebook page, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find this pinned post. It's the first one at the top of the page. You can send us your dog of the day. Let us know where you're from if you want to. You can give us a little story about your dog of the day. And that's how you can see them right here on our newscasts every morning.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's check out the very latest problem happening on I-24 at Joe B. Jackson. All right, everyone. So this particular side of town is dealing with overnight construction that should be wrapping up here. You can see where they're squeezing everyone over to one lane here as you make that drive into town from I-24 near Joe B. Jackson here. This extends all the way up to the Salem Highway. So heads up in that area. It will cost you a bit of a slowdown. Good news is, looks like they're picking up the cones and preparing to reopen the traffic. There it is there. You can see the end of it right here where they're reopening the traffic. Hopefully soon they'll come pick up these cones and work it all the way back so you will have less problems coming in from Murfreesboro.
Justin, thank you. Car manufacturer Kia has issued a recall for more than 460,000 cars that could catch fire while they're parked or driving down the road.
Kia says Tellurides with model years between 2020 to 2024 should be parked outside and then away from any buildings until the issue is fixed.
All right, Kia says anybody who is impacted will get notices in the mail by the end of July. Dealers have promised free fixes. In the meantime, like Erica said, you need to make sure you're parking away from any buildings.
Yeah, safety first. Hey, Fox 17 News is giving you a chance to receive 2 tickets for Brew at the Zoo. It's this Friday, June 14th at the Nashville Zoo. You can enjoy the animals, the live music, the local food trucks, and dozens of craft beers at this unique after-hours event. So scan the QR code right there on your screen or go to fox17.com/contest to enter for your chance to win. By the way, this event is for 21 and up. That's how old you have to be, 21 and up. Message and data rates to apply. For complete contest details, go to fox17.com/contest.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, marking 6 months after deadly tornadoes ripped through the mid-state. We're taking a closer look at how the recovery is progressing.
And what's next after CMA Fest wraps up in Nashville? Well, we have Bonnaroo looking ahead to this weekend. We'll get all those live music updates for you in minutes.
And the forecast here starting off the week, very nice. But yes, we go from CMA Fest to Bonnaroo in a completely different weather setup for this upcoming weekend. We'll work you through it in your forecast.
Greg, thanks. Good morning to you, and thanks for starting your Monday with us here on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. This Monday morning, we're talking about how we're 6 months ago, mid-state neighbors woke up and looked around at devastation. Major tornadoes struck throughout the mid-state. That was on December 9th, causing life-changing damage over in Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville, so many areas.
Gallatin, Springfield, and those tornadoes claimed 7 lives in all. 4 people died in Clarksville and 3 died in Madison. So as we take a look at the recovery efforts, we know that dozens of people were hurt on top of those deaths reported. Hundreds of homes damaged or destroyed.
During all the chaos, many Tennesseans, they came together, right? Rallying around the community to provide relief, try to help out however they could. And also a lot of help came from both local and then federal governments as disaster areas were declared. So right now we're talking about how folks are still getting involved, still helping out. Let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bovis, about the weather reports for this week and how it could help with folks who are still trying to clean up.
Oh, 100%. No rain, nothing like that to have to worry about here. Anyone trying to clean up or do anything outdoors is going to be A-OK when it comes to rain influence. Right now, the big influence is what's on your screen. It is dense fog advisories across the board for us here. We have limited visibility under a mile for a good portion of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. That's been the big influence for not just the weather, but how it impacts traffic this morning. Yeah, low beams, fog, limited visibility, exercise caution here for this one. That advisory is until 8 o'clock this morning, so there are 2 hours worth of it, and the fog likely will not completely lift until we get into around 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. 59 degrees right now, right side of your screen. Those current temperatures stay up even during commercial breaks all the way through 9 o'clock every morning for us here, and we're waking up on a brisk start with no humidity, which will be nice. No mugginess for the afternoon. 77 degrees by 11 o'clock. We'll slide into the low 80s for most of the early to mid-afternoon. You might catch a couple of clouds early in the day and then pulling towards sunset as well, but no rain in the forecast. I mentioned a completely different weather pattern for the upcoming weekend. Look at the right side of your screen. 90s at least 4 days in a row. I'll look at which days, not even this weekend, but into next week, that could be in the upper 90s, close to 100. Much more to unpack in your COVID forecast.
Still clear traffic takes us out to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. The TDOT camera swinging around. Unsure why the accident they were just showing us was back behind us here. So I guess they're looking for something else here. Unsure. We do have a crash over there on the shoulder. It's going to swing back to it now. You'll see it there on the shoulder right at the exit ramp. I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway. TDOT is there on the scene right now, taking a look at a multi-vehicle crash, including one car right against a guardrail. You see it there right at the exit. So this is going to be 24 heading out of town right there at Hickory Hollow, close to the Tanger outlets. The fire department is just now arriving on the scene, and in doing so, they've effectively closed the exit. So that's okay. So that's what we've got going on here. I-24 exit 60 there near Hickory Hollow Parkway. I believe from this direction, it's called William C. Turner, is shut down completely right now because of a bad wreck involving that car up against a guardrail here. So we'll continue to follow this. Best way to steer clear. Well, let's see. You could jump off at the next exit from this. No. jump off the exit before. Sorry, as I'm working this out in my head in real time. You want to use exit 59, which is going to be Bell Road, and use that to get around and get to where you're going. There's some back roads up and around, and you can take that over to Hickory Hollow Parkway and work your way in from there. Don't go beyond this. If you go beyond this, you'll end up all the way down near Laverne. You don't want to do that. Just jump off here at 59. I see Kendall, my man over there, shaking his head. He's like, yep, that's exactly what would happen. So you want to stay right there. The fire department on the scene now, making sure everybody's okay. This crash may have some injuries there at that exit as it is shut down now.
At 6:05 in Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police making an arrest regarding the Tanger Outlet shoplifting incident that sparked a viral video that we're showing right behind us here.
Yeah, first brought this to you last week. We now have a 15-year-old behind bars after the weekend arrest, while police are still searching for the 2 other people involved. A 15-year-old, y'all. Video of shoplifters going into the perfume mania at the Tanger Outlets is what we're watching here behind us. But more importantly, what made this go viral were the everyday shoppers who were not having it. They blocked the shoplifters in the store at the brand new shopping center in Antioch. And now all of this has prompted a big call for change.
So in that video, the trio eventually slipped out the back door. They took off running. Metro Police say they are now increasing their presence at the mall, especially with so many folks who want to get out there and enjoy the outdoor areas during the summer vacation.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, this is not the first shoplifting incident we've seen at that brand new mall. All right, 6:06 is the time right now, and downtown Nashville is all done with CMA Fest. We've got the stages being broken down this morning as we speak. Everybody's probably getting some rest after a long 4 days. Our Fox 17 photojournalist Madison Spraker joining us live downtown this morning from Broadway. At first, you can see the hard rock guitar spinning there, and a lot of that work to bring these stages down takes time.
Oh yeah, the 51st annual event. I know you said earlier, Jen, they thought about 90,000 people were coming out to enjoy this over the total days.
Per day.
Per day.
90,000 per day.
I'm sorry, that's really hard to believe. But I mean, when you think about the traffic situations that end up happening, you can understand that that is the case. So yeah, we'll continue following all the cleanup. It's going to continue for days on. And we also have our eyes on Bonnaroo that is happening this weekend.
That's right. And by the way, if you or somebody you know is planning to go to Bonnaroo this coming weekend, make sure they are hydrating now. It is going to be a scorcher out there on the farm.
Well, there is a Nashville judge who says the criminal justice system is not made for those with mental illnesses. Now she has some suggestions.
6:09 is the time in New This Morning, and a Nashville judge is making a plea for more of an investment when it comes to mental health. Judge Melissa Blackburn says the lack of mental health tracking is a big part that there's such a high repeat offender rate happening in the city. She's asking the city of Nashville to create a brand new position to keep track of mental health related crime statistics. It will cost $75,000 a year. Now, she says this is especially for those who are close to functioning in society, but not quite there yet and need some one-on-one help.
These are not individuals that are DIDS individuals that have that low of an IQ, but they have an inability to be able to work in society in a normal fashion. And so it would be working with a psychiatrist or a psychologist to help them learn how to function normally in society.
Now, right now, her administrative assistant is the one keeping track of all the statistics as far as who comes through their courtroom, and not just with her, but the other judges there, and who has been seen by who, to try to find out exactly what's happening out there in the mental health crime world. She says it's a job that her administrative assistant simply cannot continue to do. That's why she's asking the city for the $75,000. Well, the family of a missing 8-month-old girl is set to appear in court today. The Kentucky State Police say they cannot find baby Maya Tucker during a welfare check at the Reynolds Station home last week. Officers arrested her parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd. They are both now facing charges, including abandonment of a minor and child abuse. Police say that Maya's grandfather is also due in court on some of those same charges. Maya has brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about this missing 8-month-old child, you're asked to call the Kentucky State Police.
Coming up, working from fog to 90-degree temperatures before we even reach the weekend. Look at the screen right there. You can see the fog hovering over what should be Nissan Stadium. At the bottom of your screen, we'll see how much longer this is going to stick around before we get back to some sunnier times. Also, not just one, not just two, but multiple days in a row that could end up hitting 90 degrees.
And steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is where the exit is closed as they
MC of Nashville.
Making international headlines this morning, Gaza's health ministry, they have now raised the death toll from Saturday's raid that saw 4 hostages rescued. They say at least 274 Palestinians ultimately were killed. Israel's military says it launched airstrikes on the refugee camp to protect troops who were coming under fire. They blame the casualties on Hamas for hiding the hostages among civilians. Now, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, who appeared on another news network, tried to defend Israel's right to launch attacks if it means rescuing hostages.
We will continue to work with Israel to do that. We will also continue to reinforce the point that all of their military operations, including hostage rescue operations, should take every precaution to minimize the amount of civilian harm or civilian casualties. That is a point we will reinforce in all of our engagements with the Israelis going forward.
Meanwhile, the head of the World Food Program now says they are suspending operations at the U.S.-built pier over in Gaza because several of their warehouses were hit by rockets during that operation.
In case you missed it over the weekend, President Biden and First Lady visiting an American cemetery near Paris.
I think it is a measure of a country's support for democratic values, that they honor those who've risked their lives and lost their lives. The idea that I'd come to Normandy and not make this short trip here to pay tribute. And it's the same story. Think about it. America showed up. America showed up.
Now, the president did come under fire after the ceremony that he attended marking 80 years since D-Day because he left early before a lot of the other dignitaries. And so, you know, that was a note from his visit as well. Fox 17 News will be following all the latest developments from the White House as he gets back here on the mainland.
Well, at 6:16, go ahead and take a look at this. Our car fire captured on video Sunday afternoon. Smoky Barn News reporting that this fire happened on I-24 just before exit 40. I know, Jen, you were talking about the exterior of that car just being really a shield. Nothing is left.
The shell of it is still sitting on the side of the interstate. So if you leave Nashville and you're going up toward Clarksville on I-24, you'll see it on the right shoulder as you approach the exit for Jolton.
Not a good situation there. Let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. Earlier, Greg, you caught my attention when you said nearly 100 degrees.
Yes.
What?
Now, we're not going to hit it. I firmly do not believe in that, but upper 90s, Sunday into Monday.
I mean, that's hot enough.
At that point, 2 degrees is 2 degrees.
Well, and here's the thing. So Bonnaroo is happening in Manchester on the farm, and that's the kind of weather that starts to get dangerous for people who are outside 24/7 for the most part for Bonnaroo.
Camping, yeah.
Camping, probably not staying well hydrated. I mean, I think this is going to be a big story as we get to the weekend.
There's no doubt that it will, because if you just want to compare apples to apples here, CMA Fest and Bonnaroo, completely different beasts here. You know, midnight hits every night. We're done till the next morning around 10 a.m. So to Jen's point, the overnight temperatures are going to give us almost no relief when it comes to the heat and the humidity. And I'm going to look at it for you. Take a look right now, though. Visibility tracker. I've got to work you through some fog this morning. We've been seeing it on all of our cameras, elevated in spots, right down to street level in others. Just depends where you are at. Dense fog advisory is in effect for us until we make our way through 8 o'clock this morning. Split week for temperatures. Today and tomorrow are gorgeous. Right near 80 degrees. We have no humidity. First half is great. Second half is hot. Flat out hot, and we'll show you it in the 7-day forecast. All clear when it comes to Code Red. We're just tracking the incoming heat later this week. We'll find a lot of tips and things and reminders of ways to keep safe, getting ourselves back into a 90-degree mindset. That's where we're going to be. Take a look at our Metro Center camera. That is fog hovering right near it. Taking a look. We've seen a lot of beautiful images this morning. Once we get through it, that's the only thing we have to contend with for the rest of today. Great day today. Another great day tomorrow. And then we're looking a little bit better, but we get toward the end of the week. Not so great. Thursday, hot. Friday, hotter. Saturday, hot again. Sunday, even hotter. It's pretty much all we're working with. And those are the 4 days of Bonnaroo. Highs in Manchester are going to be in the lower 90s all 4 days. Nighttime temperatures right near 70. So again, any way to stay hydrated or make a game plan if you're going to Bonnaroo, I would start planning now instead of in real time.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 and Hickory Hollow Parkway as you make that drive into town. We are dealing with a crash out here at the Hickory Hollow exit on I-24. So good morning to all of you. We've got a car facing the wrong direction up against a guardrail here. Metro Police on the scene. So is TDOT. Have they picked up the cones yet? It looks like they may have. They may be letting traffic by a little bit here at this exit. This is going out of town, going out of Nashville, heading towards Antioch is where this is, right at exit 60. What you want to do instead is take 59. That's Bell Road right before this. Yes, I know. That Bell Road. Yeah, I know. There's a traffic light down there. It takes forever. I understand. But that's going to be your best bet. If you have to use exit 60, you want to get off at Bell Road and make that left there and then make that turn on to Hickory Hollow Parkway. It's a little turned around, but that's going to be the best way to do it there. Here is the overall drive times. 26 minutes here coming in from Hendersonville, 64 minutes from Murfreesboro. So doing well coming in from Franklin at 27 minutes.
Chicago police right now getting ready for crowds and safety concerns ahead of the 2024 Democratic National Convention.
It includes specialized training, which does include de-escalation, possible riots and vandalism, plus mass arrests. President Joe Biden is going to be renominated at the convention to run for president again. Chicago could see more than 50 organizations planning protests, so they're just going ahead and planning ahead. By the way, permits near the convention's United Center site have been denied.
Convention does run from August 19th through the 22nd. Yes, that's a couple of months away, and yes, they are already getting prepared. Breaking news this morning as we follow former President Trump's recent trial and an important meeting that's coming up with a probation officer.
And you've likely heard about this story, 2 shark attacks. Right now, Fox 17 News, we are following political updates. Former President Donald Trump is set to go ahead and have a virtual interview with a probation officer today. So getting some more updates. Mr. Trump is going to talk with New York probation officials from his home in Florida. The interview, though, is a requirement before the former president's sentencing for the hush money case. Former President Donald Trump is convicted for falsifying business records to cover up a payment to an adult film actress before the 2016 presidential elections. By the way, he is set to be sentenced next month, so we'll continue following any updates this morning.
Well, Florida fire officials are now warning people who are going out to the beach may want to be a little extra vigilant. This is after 2 separate shark attacks that took place there in a very short period of time.
And if you're wondering why the fire department, well, because this has nothing to do with fires, but the fire departments down there in the Gulf work very closely with the lifeguard stations, EMS, the Coast Guard. You know, they all work very closely together down there in the Gulf. We did have the shark attacks Friday in the Florida Panhandle, and they happened within 2 hours, less than 5 miles apart. This is in Walton County. We had a 45-year-old woman with very serious injuries. She lost a portion of her left arm. They had to amputate it after the shark attack. We had 2 teenagers then attacked about an hour and a half later, swimming at a beach just a few miles away from the first one. Now, to give you perspective, I mentioned Walton County. This is near Water Sound. It's kind of the western portion of the Gulf.
Okay. Western portion of the Gulf out there. One of the teens who was attacked is still in the hospital with an injured leg and hand. The second teen has already been released. Still a little concerning for folks down there, even though they say the shark attacks can be rare.
Yeah.
They had a couple there within very short order.
Still worth paying attention before you head out. All right, hey, back here at home, do you wash or do you wait? If you need to get the car cleaned up, this is going to be a great stretch of days to get the car washed. You can see Greg's got the green light for you Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Looking pretty good. Let's take a look at your Steer clear traffic out there this morning. We're going to get started here at I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway. That's where the exit is open. I can report that. The exit is open, but they are still over there dealing with the crash. You can see the car. If you're looking at the vehicles on your screen, you see from the far right-hand side, one Metro Police car, a T-Dot truck, another Metro Police car, then another one, and then you'll see that car facing the wrong direction up against a guardrail. So they're waiting on a tow truck to come get that out of the way. Again, you can get off there at the exit, so you can watch one car do it here. Hey, try to do it a little slower than he's doing it. Give them some space, and you can see workers are still out there roaming around. Slow down a little bit as you jump off at that exit there in Antioch.
We have a man facing charges after police say he broke into cars at an unusual location. We'll get you those details in minutes.
Plus the Grand Ole Opry.
Local community.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, the Grand Ole Opry welcoming its newest member over the weekend, and chances are you recognize her.
Taking a couple different live looks this morning, showing you, first of all, the conditions clearing in the heart of downtown Nashville. That fog starting to lift just a little bit for you. We'll tell you if it's still troublesome in other spots. Thanks for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We're going to get started in Operation Crime and Justice this Monday morning. Hearing more from Lebanon police, catching up to this man, James Muncie. Police say Muncie was identified as the suspect in several recent car break-ins at the Little Lambs Child Care. It's located off of McGregor Street at a child care center. Muncie is now facing charges of 3 counts of burglary, theft, and also vandalism.
Steer clear traffic. I want to bring your attention to I-24 near Hickory Hollow. That's where you've been following a crash there at the exit. But just down the road here, saw a T-Dot worker started to flag down some of his buddies here because smoke was rising right here from this car. Now, it looks like they may be moving on from it here. But again, we were seeing some light smoke starting to rise. You can still see some right there as it starts to move around. That T-Dot worker now moving away from it there. They're also yanking the car door open. Looks like they've got a driver they're dealing with it as well. So it looks like we had a very light, or at least a potential of a vehicle fire about to happen there, and that's why I wanted to make sure everyone that was aware of this. Yeah, you can see the, okay, so it looks like we've got a car overheating, but not necessarily a full-fledged fire yet. So heads up as you make that drive in from the east side of town. I-24, so now we've got 2 problems here in theory. We've got 1 problem here just past the exit as they've shut down 1 lane to deal with that overheating car. Then we've got a multi-car crash back behind it here at 24 at the exit ramp. You can get by as you watch people do that, but we were dealing with the car that had turned the wrong way. You can see it right there up against the guardrail. So give crews some room to work there as you make that drive in from the Antioch and Hickory Hollow Parkway area.
Taking a look at your forecast this morning, only thing slowing us down is this visibility problem. So we've had fog throughout the entire morning, and we're going to continue to see that fog out there in many areas of dense pockets through at least 8, 9 o'clock this morning. We're all on a dense fog advisory until 8 o'clock. Split week for temperatures. First half, fantastic. Right now, it's almost a little bit cool outside right now, upper 50s and low 60s. 80 degrees today, 81 degrees tomorrow. Nothing to worry about, no rain. Even low humidity. However, second half of the 7-day forecast is completely different. Humidity climbs back up, and we will also see the possibility of not just 1 90-degree day or 2. We could have 4 or 5 in a row. So that's, again, a little bit spicy here for the upcoming weekend when it comes to temperatures. Watch out for the fog this morning. Grab the sunglasses for the afternoon. 80 degrees today, 81 tomorrow. Now let's talk about the heat. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday. Middle to upper 90s on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday says 96. Honestly, that's a little conservative. If we don't see the cloud cover and we don't squeeze in a stray shower, we could easily hit 97 or 98 on Sunday. That kind of heat to settle into the end of the weekend. Until then, it's that small little stair step of temperature day after day that gains about 4 or 5 degrees on the day before it starting on Wednesday.
I'm a little bit biased, but there can never be too many women at the Grand Ole Opry.
All right, take a look at this. Country music royalty Trisha Yearwood, who you just heard from there, and Garth Brooks. They surprised star Lainey Wilson at the Grand Ole Opry this weekend to welcome her as the newest Opry member.
What I play in this circle. This right here is the highest honor for me. It feels like that stamp of approval from everybody that stood right here.
Stamp of approval. Wilson said she remembers sitting in the Opry audience at just 9 years old, dreaming of one day standing in the Opry circle as a member of the house that country music built. Congrats to Lainey Wilson.
6:33 is the time right now, and CMA Fest, 51st CMA Fest is now come and gone in Nashville. Everybody's packed up and the shows are over. People are heading home, and well, downtown Nashville is going to start to return to a more normal kind of a pattern. We got a live look right now from our Fox 17 photojournalist Madison Spraker, who's out there giving us a shot of some of the stages that are being torn down as we speak this morning. Good thing here, we can see the sunshine now. It looks like the sun has burned through a lot of that fog in the heart of downtown Nashville. As we get CMA Fest all cleaned up and downtown returns to normal, the music party heads to Manchester, which is southeast of Nashville, out on the farm. And we've got Bonnaroo happening coming up this weekend. So we'll be turning our attention to that and some of our reporting throughout the course of the week. Hey, also, as we look ahead to this next weekend, I was talking about Bonnaroo. We're also keeping an eye on Father's Day coming up this Sunday. And we were just curious this morning, have you started shopping for Dad yet? Right now, 73.8% of you say no. The poll is live right now on our Fox Nashville Twitter account.
Well, happening now, a Mid-State Dam is going to be closed for repairs.
Yeah, in fact, that means you might have to take a detour. Center Hill Dam is, as you can see here in DeKalb County, and it's going to be closed where it crosses the river right here from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. today. That means no driving along State Route 141, which you can see Dale Ridge Road comes right over here, turns into 141 where it crosses here. Just a good reminder for those of you who are in and around the Center Hill Dam area, that's going to be a traffic concern throughout the day.
Well, coming up, international headlines, a shakeup in Israel as one of the prime minister's main rivals has handed over his position. That's amid major protests, so we're going to explain that story in just a couple of minutes. And a mountain highway sliding down a cliff, cutting off a lifeline between two communities.
Still to come on Fox 7.
Credit Union.
Breaking news, we now know Toyota's market value dropped the equivalent of about $15 billion. This was as of last week. Shares reportedly headed up today, though, after falling nearly 5.5%. This all comes after Japan's transport ministry found there was false information used to certify some of the car models. The fraudulent testing does include collision tests like airbag and backseat damage, as well as engine power tests. Toyota officials say the issues, though, do not impact overseas production or the safety of cars that have already been out there on the road.
Right now in world headlines in Israel, a rival of Benjamin Netanyahu announces his party's withdrawal.
The centrist Benny Gantz accused the prime minister of putting his political survival before the country's security needs. Now, he had previously threatened to resign if Benjamin Netanyahu did not come up with a new plan for post-war Gaza.
Gantz also calling for early elections this fall, echoing protests that we have seen in Israel. That's what we're taking a look at on your screen in picture form. His resignation, though, not likely to have any kind of immediate impact.
A large portion of a major mountain road is now out of commission. If you're away from your television for some reason, step back into the room. Look at this. This is absolutely so scary and unbelievable. We're so thankful that no one was hurt. This is a chunk of Tension's Pass, Teton.
The Grand Tetons.
Teton.
Out in the Grand Tetons, yes.
I'm sorry, unfamiliar with this part of the world. But the Grand Tetons out there. And it's a small town in Idaho, and it connects a series of towns there in Idaho all the way to Jackson, Wyoming. And that particular road has collapsed. Thankfully, it was already shut down because of a mudslide that was nearby.
You know, it's interesting. This has become a very popular spot for seniors to take their senior trips. Okay. We have seen a lot more families take their vacations out west like this. Okay. To see that part of the country. So just a heads up, if you've got a vacation coming up soon and you're going to go through the passes there, you might have to make an adjustment.
Is it a mountain range? Like what? Okay, so it's a mountain range out there, out west. Look at that. Yeah. It just gave way.
Crazy.
So scary.
Back home, we have a whole other different thing we're dealing with here when it comes to our up and out the door, and that is the fog that we've been dealing with all morning long, and it's going to still be out there for the next hour or two. Good news is, though, muggy meter is down. We are in the pleasant category for today and tomorrow before the humidity comes back later on this week, and then into the weekend it really does take over. Pollen counts are down right now as well. Those will also climb throughout the week with no rain for 5 days in a row. What little pollen we've got out there when it comes to especially grass pollen this time of the year is going to make itself known by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. So humidity, temperatures, pollen counts, everything going up Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. And it's also a great time for people to get out and, maybe take a weekend to the Smokies. Well, it is illegal to wrestle a bear in which country? It's my curious question today. It is illegal to wrestle a bear in which country? Brazil, Canada, the United States, or South Africa? The answer coming up here in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway down in the Antioch area. This is a quick look here at what we've got going on. We've got a tow truck in place to tow away a car that was involved in a crash that ended up going the wrong direction there up against a guardrail. They've got the exit shut down for right now until that tow truck can completely remove that car. So the best way to deal with this is going on I-24, getting off the exit before this at Bell Road. You can work Bell Road and get around this to a lot of the same places that you would get off here at exit 60 for William C. Turner or Hickory Hollow Parkway there on the east side of town. We'll continue to follow things in other areas, including a disabled vehicle near I-40 at Fessler's. We'll get to that in a few.
Hunter Biden is set to be in court starting again today. Why taking the stand could be a risky move.
In the federal gun trial against President Biden's son, Hunter Biden.
Now, it's possible that Hunter Biden could take the stand. Madeline Rivera giving us the latest here this Monday morning.
On one hand, Hunter Biden can drum up sympathy from jurors by sharing what he was going through in October 2018. He can argue he had a period of sobriety after a stint in rehab and therefore was being truthful when he filled out a federal form to get a gun. Prosecutors accuse him of lying on that form about his drug use. But if he does take the stand, he also opens himself up to cross-examination, which could be risky. The trial has featured highly personal and at times emotional testimony. Witnesses included his exes, like his sister-in-law, Hallie Biden, with whom he was in a relationship after Beau's death. Prosecutors showed surveillance video of Hallie tossing out Hunter's gun in a trash can outside a Wilmington supermarket. Naomi, Hunter's eldest daughter, also testified, saying on Friday her father seemed great when she saw him in late summer 2018. The defense called her up to strengthen their argument that Hunter might not have been using drugs when he bought and owned the gun for 11 days. Special counsel David Weiss's team, though, presented a series of text messages between Naomi and Hunter in which he apologizes for his erratic behavior at the time. He told his daughter, quote, "I'm sorry, I've been so unreachable. It's not fair to you," unquote. The president says he won't pardon his son if he's convicted. Here's Michigan Governor and Biden campaign co-chair Gretchen Whitmer weighing in.
When the president was asked about this, he'll have confidence in the judicial system. He's not going to undermine it. I think, we'll see how it plays out.
First Lady Jill Biden will likely be back in court to show support for her stepson. She and the president return to Wilmington, Delaware tonight. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Madeline, thank you. Health news now. Invasive mosquitoes might be spending their summer here and then also bringing some nasty diseases with them.
Yeah, we've got a health department here in Nashville that detected West Nile virus last week in a puddle of mosquitoes in Davidson County. Now, it is typical, it is routine this time of year for our health departments to start checking for this. Of course, we know mosquitoes can carry West Nile, yellow fever, and other problems. West Nile virus, though, spread specifically through mosquito bites. It can cause fever and chills.
Yeah, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says about 1 out of 150 people infected do develop a serious or fatal illness. Mosquitoes can breed in water, so one mosquito control expert says it's our responsibility to keep an eye out. Listen here.
We can't be in everybody's backyard. We can't see that plant saucer, that dog dish, that kiddie pool that might be producing mosquitoes.
She says it's also a good idea to wear the EPA-approved insect repellent and then also go around and empty out every ounce of standing water around your house, okay? Wearing loose, long-sleeve clothing can also help protect from bites. We did that last week. We went around the house and we emptied
water pots or, you know, just pots outside that were full of water.
Yeah, even if you have
Breeding
little,
ground.
you know, pretty little things for your flowers that aren't being used, dump those out. We have to dump out a wheelbarrow every so often.
Oh, yeah. And then we had a water gauge that was out there, you know, collecting the rainwater.
Yeah,
Dump it out.
Hey, this morning at 6:48, we are working to find out whether Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is part of the Beehive, but we know that she might have been at Beyonce's tour last year, and we know this because, in case you missed it Friday, part of her financial disclosure forms showed that she was gifted concert tickets worth almost $4,000.
Supreme Court justices, they have to go ahead and disclose all gifts that are worth more than $480. That is a very specific number. In the past, some have failed to do so, which has drawn intense criticism.
I bet you were wondering where we were going with that story, weren't you?
A lot of folks were.
Taking a live look this morning from Phoenix, Arizona. This is a live shot from KNXV, and man, the heat is on. And the heat's going to be on here at home, too. Out west, though, they have had record temperatures days in a row worth of 115, 110 degrees. Now, granted, they don't have the humidity like we have here, but as we get into our weekend, Greg is saying we could be pushing mid-90s, maybe close to 100. That's wild.
Mid-90s is a good bet. That extra 4 or 5 degrees is kind of hard to get any time of the year, but
yeah.
I mean, after being 80 degrees today, going that high tomorrow is going to be kind of a real shock to the system. I should say by Thursday we get back to the 90s. But my curious question has nothing to do with that. It is illegal to wrestle a bear in which country? Illegal to wrestle a bear in which country? Brazil, Canada, United States, or South Africa? You going with B, Erica?
D.
Going with D. Okay.
I'm going with C.
Okay, so Jen's got United States and Erica's got South Africa. It is South Africa. Yeah, people used to wrestle bears for sport. And in only 20 states you can't do it in.
What kind of bears?
Alabama is one of them. Bears. The ones with claws.
Okay.
And like teeth that could bite. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact bear stipulation or which piece of legislation, you know, really specifies. But taking a look, 80 degrees today, low humidity. Great day. Grab some sunglasses. Leave the rain stuff at home all week long. No rain at any point this week. Taking a look this weekend, though, there it is. Mid-90s. Saturday and Sunday, laboring through the heat. No thunderstorms. Humidity climbs into the upcoming weekend. So it's going to be one of those weekends where if you've already got plans, make sure you add a couple extra things to your plans. Lighter clothing, a shady spot occasionally, and maybe try to make them earlier in the day or closer to sunset, because we're loaded with sun both days. We just got to contend with that. How would you keep track of the temperature very easily when the days are bouncing around a lot? Well, get the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. You just type in Code Red at the App Store, or you can always, every morning I show it to you, scan that QR code. 80 today, 81 tomorrow, 85 Wednesday, and then the heat is on, takes us all the way into the upcoming weekend.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is coming through the Antioch area. We are dealing with a couple of different cars here that are the results of a crash that happened much earlier. They've shut down the exit there. Shut down the exit at exit 60 there at I-24 coming out of town. So if you know you have to use that, getting over to the Tanger outlets in that area, you want to jump off at Bell Road instead and use that to get around this until they're able to remove all of the cars there off of the exit.
Hey, check this out. After a mid-state astronaut and his crewmate arrived at the International Space Station, they're now giving a tour of the Boeing Starliner that took them into space on its first crewed flight. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is the story especially of Butch Wilmore, our local guy who is up there right now. They lifted off Wednesday morning last week from Cape Canaveral. That flight test is going to help make sure the Starliner is prepared to make regular trips to the International Space Station. The Starliner has had a couple of flights already while they're up there. Here's mid-state astronaut Butch Wilmore showing us around.
It looks probably a little cramped, and it's actually fairly roomy for just Sonny and myself, with just the two of us. Obviously, you don't need a large cockpit, so it's actually sized perfectly for us as far as for controlling the spacecraft.
That does not necessarily look roomy to me. Okay, but tomorrow, Will Moore is going to be speaking to students from Tennessee Tech live from the space station. I wish he could call into our newscast.
That would be fun. Hey, I bet if we got on it, we could make that happen. At least we'll check in to see if NASA is live streaming that, and if they are, we'll tap into it for you live through 9.
Definitely. Coming up, tensions building between North Korea and South Korea. The southern nation is reviving an old strategy to push back, though.
And still to come on Fox 7.
Everyone.
6:55 is the time, and right now we're showing you a live look of the Nashville skyline. This is over in Metro Center, not too far away from us. Earlier this morning, we were showing you shots of the fog that was causing an issue for drivers out there, but it seems to have cleared up. We're going to have some sunny skies, so pack your sunglasses and just be ready for some heat coming in later this week. It is going to be intense.
Hydrate now, ahead of time. South Korea has resumed anti-North Korean loudspeaker broadcasts along its border between the two nations.
All right, this is pretty interesting. So now we're getting some more updates. We understand it comes in response to North Korea flying balloons filled with trash into South Korea in weeks past. Now, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is warning of further escalation if the broadcasts continue. She says the trash balloons were in response to South Korean activists who dropped anti-North leaflets across the border. South Korea, by the way, has in the past used loudspeakers to blare anti-North messages, K-pop songs, and international news reports.
The Kroger supermarket chain will be making summer a little sweeter than usual this year. How? Well, we're going to tell you. The company says they're celebrating the summer solstice Thursday, June 20th, by giving away 45,000 pints of Kroger brand ice cream.
Okay, the flavors include chocolate chip, vanilla, and mint chocolate chip. Ice cream lovers can go ahead and visit freekrogericecream.com. That's freekrogericecream.com to scoop up their free pint by using a limited time single-use digital coupon that will be available for download only Thursday, June 20th. And they do say it's while supplies last.
That is a sweet treat.
And I will tell you, leading into this weekend, there might be a lot of extra shelves that are cleared off when it comes to ice cream because we're going to be real hot. Taking a look right now, our dog of the day, JD. Oh, big old boy. Look at that. Look at that face right there. Great day for a dog walk today. No problems with humidity, heat, or anything. Really just some sunshine in toward the afternoon. Still working through some fog. Dense fog advisory continues until 8 o'clock. That will eventually lift. The advisory will lift, and then the fog will lift, and then we'll be okay. Sunshine, though, does win the game here for us the next 5 days in a row. 60 this afternoon, or I should say 80 this afternoon after a start at 60 degrees at 7 o'clock. 67 degrees at 9 and then 72 at 10. The afternoon will be hovering in the upper 70s and low 80s from noon all the way through around 7 p.m. How do you get us your photos? You can send us our dogs of the day here every morning on Facebook. Meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that pinned post at the top. That's my mail carrier. She brings your dog of the day straight here and can get it on air for you on Fox 17 News this morning, every morning. Stick with us, though. I'm going to have a few new updates to the forecast when it comes to any tweaks to weekend temperatures of a first sneak peek at a Bonnaroo forecast if you have any friends or family or maybe even you're going. So a lot of things that are coming your way in just a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic right now, just a couple minutes before 7 o'clock. Still have this issue, I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. Now, this is something that Justin has been reporting on for, gosh, the better part of about an hour now. And this is still having a high impact out there in Antioch. Now, we know that this is the exit ramp. That, Justin, I feel like they opened it up for a little bit and let traffic by, but they've now shut it down again because it would appear that whatever happened on this ramp at Hickory Hollow is now getting cleared out. And so in order to clear out that crash, they've got to, it looks like, shut down the ramp again. So if you are leaving Nashville, going out toward Antioch, and you need to get off at Hickory Hollow, you can't do that. Best bet is going to be to take Bell Road and get that workaround.
Listen, if you're afraid of heights, this story is not for you. Energy drink Red Bull brought its Cliff Diving World Series into the waters of Boston's harbor. It happened over the weekend, and we do have the video, so take a look here. This particular event that we're talking about marked the 100th stop and the Red Bull Cliff Diving history and third ever over in Boston. Divers made their leap of faith from up 90 feet in the air by a waterfront art museum and then attempting as little splash as possible for the best numbers from the judges. Divers love the rush that it produced.
Not for me, though.
By the way, this is the only U.S. stop on the Red Bull cliff diving tour, which continues on to the finish in Sydney, Australia, coming up in November. What a thrill, right? I mean, it kind of makes my stomach turn a little bit just watching it, but nonetheless, something that a lot of folks like to follow. It is just about 7 o'clock, and our 7 o'clock hour, where we are live and local just for you, starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, it has been 6 months since the deadly December tornadoes that killed 7 people in the mid-state. How the community is continuing the recovery process.
And we have some fog this morning, but the bigger story is going to be the end of this week when we have multiple days in a row that kick it right back up to near, if not above, 90 degrees. We'll look at it in the forecast.
Plenty of work to be done on I-24. Multiple cars involved in the crash that has the exit shut down. We'll tell you exactly how to deal with this.
We do want to start by saying thank you, though, for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News on a Monday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m. We begin this hour with a story new this morning out of Bellevue. 2 men accused of attacking a woman with a fire extinguisher and then stealing from her. Metro Police say it happened at a Bellevue apartment complex just off Old Hickory Boulevard. Officers say that woman had been walking her dog when Quishon DeMumbrian and Lamar Maddox sprayed her with a fire extinguisher and took her bag, cell phone, and car keys.
That is so scary. They say they later found the 2 men near the entrance of this particular apartment complex. Again, we're mapping it out for you right here on the screen. Both of them are now charged with robbery.
We've been mentioning through the course of our morning show that it was 6 months ago that mid-state neighbors woke up to life-changing destruction. Tornadoes hit through the mid-state on December 9th, which, 6 months ago would have been yesterday on June 9th. But looking at the damage this morning that still exists in communities like Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Springfield.
Yeah, we understand 7 people died in those tornadoes, 4 people in Clarksville, and then 3 over in Madison, including 2 children. And dozens of people were hurt as well. Hundreds of homes were either damaged or destroyed. Now, during all the chaos, so many Tennesseans, the good news is they came together, rallying around the community to provide relief. And the help also came from local and federal governments as disaster areas were declared. If you would like to get involved with the ongoing recovery efforts, we have information to make that happen. Go to fox17.com. As for the weather this week, it's going to be very hot and steamy. I know, Greg, you had one graphic and it said spicy. That is how you described this weekend.
This weekend's gonna be spicy. It is. We're gonna crank the heat up. We're gonna have a little humidity with it. We're gonna toss in a little pollen, because why not at that point? Yeah, a little bit of everything to kind of wake up all the senses here, but no rain. That's the only ingredient missing to our spicy weekend coming up. Fog advisory in effect until 8 a.m. here for all of us. Fog should be out of most of our areas by around 10 o'clock. And then we have a split weekend for temperatures. Today and tomorrow are nearly perfect. And then Thursday, Friday, and then into the weekend, temperatures hitting 90 degrees, if not even hotter than that, every day. We're not going to go code red right now. We're going to keep it all clear because, again, we're just watching the late week heat. We're going to see how that influence with the humidity goes when it comes to the heat index. We'll watch those numbers very carefully by the end of the week. 61 degrees right now, though. Nothing happening downtown. You'd have never known that we had a festival that brought 90,000 people per day to the town here that was still set up 24 hours ago. Boy, do we really change things around very quickly and get moving right back to life as usual here across Middle Tennessee. What to wear? Everything comfortable for the sun. So we're talking sunglasses, hats, all of that. You can leave all the rain gear at home out the door here on this Monday, June 10th, and you don't have to really worry about much other than that fog and some sun glare. Temperatures up to 72 by 10 o'clock. Your 7-day forecast, you'll see where that pivot day is. It's going to be on Thursday between now and then. Nothing to worry about, and then we go to the 90s. A lot of things happening this weekend. We're talking Bonnaroo, we're talking heat, and then we will look at the humidity and pollen counts coming up in a few.
Let's get to steer clear traffic out there this morning. We've got the very latest happening there on I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway. You make that drive in from Antioch. Right now, we're dealing with traffic that is rolling along pretty well, despite the fact we do have a crash there that has shut down the exit 60 there. You want to take 59 instead. So exit 60 is going to be William C. Turner in that area around Hickory Hollow Parkway. They've got the tow trucks taking cars away. The exit before this is Bell Road. You can use that and then make the left there at the light and work work your way around into the Hickory Hollow area if you want to go that route there to get past this until they're able to completely clear the scene, which we hope is soon. Here's I-40 at Fester's Lane, just east of downtown. We were dealing with a disabled vehicle here a short time ago. They've been able to get that out of the way, so it is free-flowing traffic. Well, free-flowing at least as much as the congestion will allow you to.
Justin, thanks. Operation Crime and Justice right now. We have a follow-up to a big story that we were following for you last week. Metro Police have now arrested one of the suspects in the Tanger Outlet shoplifting case, the one that went viral when shoppers trapped the people inside the Perfume Mania.
Well, police say they arrested a 15-year-old Saturday, just 15 years old, but now they're still searching for the others responsible. The video that we're showing you right behind us, as Jen mentioned, shows the blockers, shows shoppers who are blocking the thieves inside the store over at Antioch's Tanger Outlets. And so many folks were then calling for changes, right, because of issues just like this.
Yeah, now the 3 people in the store who had on medical masks and hoods eventually slipped out the back door, but they dropped everything while they were running away. Metro Police say they are now increasing their presence at the mall and looking for the 2 other people connected.
In Operation Crime and Justice as well this Monday morning, we do understand one suspect is now in custody after a shooting over in Laverne that left one person with serious injuries. Police say the shooting happened Friday evening over on Miss Ellie Drive. The victim was then life-flighted over to Vanderbilt Medical Center. That's all according to police. The investigation is ongoing, and of course, we'll continue updating you with more details both on air and online at fox17.com.
In minutes, a Nashville judge says the criminal justice system isn't made for people with mental illness. The suggestions that she has, that she thinks is going to make a change. And right now, a live look this morning from Hendersonville. What you're looking at on your screen is what used to be the miscellaneous store on Main Street. Right next to it, the Ultimate Party store. This was one of the areas of Hendersonville hit particularly hard in the December 9th tornadoes. And this morning, as we talk about 6 months since those tornadoes, we look at the cleanup and the rebuilding efforts. As you can see here, still very much underway.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting.
7:09 is the time, and new this morning, the Nashville judge, Melissa Blackburn, is making a plea for more investment when it comes to mental health. Now, the judge says the lack of mental health tracking is a big part that there's such a big repeat offender rate here in the city. She says it's important that people who commit crimes get the right type of mental health that they need and not just punishment. She's asking the city to create a brand new position to track mental health related crimes and those individuals to make sure they're seeing the right people. She says there used to be a position that does that, but now that position doesn't exist, and she knows the person she believes is responsible for that.
Because all these individuals intersect, and we're all seeing similar individuals at different times. Well, all of that information has disappeared and no one is keeping it, and we're not working together any longer because the individual that should be doing it at the health department, that position was not filled by our mayor. I specifically asked him. He said, you know, I did see that on their request, but I didn't fill that position.
Well, that position would cost $75,000, according to Judge Blackburn. She's asking the Metro Council to include it in their next budget. She says, as for the time being, her administrative assistant is doing the best that she can to keep track of mental health related crimes. Happening right now, a mid-state dam will be closed for repairs, which means you may have to take a detour. This is happening over at the Center Hill Dam in DeKalb County. It's going to be closed from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. today. That means no driving along State Route 141 at the top of the dam. Recreation areas near that dam will also be closed.
Coming up next, fog for right now, but the big story this week has nothing to do with showers, thunderstorms, severe weather. We're talking one of the hottest stretches of air we've seen this entire season coming your way.
And we are taking a look.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning, 7:14 right now. In Crisis in the Classroom, a follow-up to a story that we have been tracking for months now after the Department of Children's Services found evidence of abuse by a Clarksville teacher.
Well, now we're learning the district let the teacher retire in good standing. Fox 17 News' investigative reporter Amanda Chin has the very latest on this case, and you've been following this case since the beginning, Amanda.
Yes, good morning, guys. Well, it hasn't been an easy ride for the Crockett family. To this day, the mother is still trying to get answers for her 4-year-old son, and she tells me she doesn't plan on giving up anytime soon. Now, records we received showed this teacher put in a request for retirement a day before our initial story on this case aired. The following day, the director of schools approved that retirement request. Now, this comes after an incident caught on video in September, where mother Jakira Crockett says a teacher put her hands on her son, Landon. Landon has autism and is non-speaking. And while the district attorney will not file any criminal charges, DCS reopened this case after my story aired and found evidence of child abuse. The teacher in question denies ever doing that.
Okay, so Amanda, because the teacher is leaving in good standing, right, the next question is, what does she receive?
Yeah, well, looking through those records that I received through my public records request, they show that she will get health insurance benefits and life insurance, among other things. It's unclear if she's appealed that decision by DCS, but she had the opportunity to do so. But coming up in the 8 a.m. hour, I will have more of the response from the school district as to why she was allowed to retire, and also a statement from this teacher's lawyer.
All right, Amanda, thank you so much. By the way, Crisis in the Classroom is our commitment to exposing problems and finding solutions for issues in our schools. If you have a story you want us to look into, email us news@fox17.com, or you can call our tip line. That number is right there at the bottom of your screen. Right now, let's get an update on our forecast. 7:16, brand new work week. CMA Fest is out. Bonnaroo moves in, and we are cranking up the heat this week.
Oh, we're cranking it up big time. I mean, not even just a little bit. We're talking 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 days in a row that could be at or above 90, and a few of those well into the 90s, and it happens right when Bonnaroo starts. I have that specific forecast that'll be coming up here for you in about a minute. Right now, here's what we've been working through so far this morning. We've had some areas of very dense fog. Dense fog advisory still in effect until 8 o'clock, but many of those patches have already started the process of lifting, which is good news. Now, what does the rest of the day have in store? Well, pleasant when it comes to our muggy meter. These are our dew points. They're in the 50s today. The reason that we had the morning fog, our actual temperatures have been in the 50s, and there is no wind to be found. That's a recipe for fog, and that's exactly what did settle in. Taking a look going forward, okay, how does this play out for the rest of this week? Well, we have a UV index in the moderate to high category, 25 minutes for a sunburn today and all week long. Sunny all week long. Keep that in mind. So at the pool, extra sunscreen, but honestly, a very comfortable day at the pool. 77 degrees at 2 o'clock, 81 degrees at 5 p.m. It will be jam-packed with sun the entire day. Might catch a couple of clouds for curb appeal, and that's pretty much it. So great pool day, but by the end of the week, things get a little more unsettled in many ways. Humidity goes up, and here's the pollen counts. Grass pollen especially climbing Wednesday through Thursday and Friday, noticeable by the end of the week. When you don't have any rain, well, the pollen has a chance to just really get churned up into the atmosphere. Here it comes, folks. Bonnaroo, Manchester, 90 degrees on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, and 92 on Sunday. And we know it's a big camping event as well. Overnight temperatures sticky and in the 60s and low 70s. 7-day forecast, 3 days. So the next 72 hours are great before that heat does begin to turn up. These are the Nashville high temperatures taking us into Thursday and Friday. And this is just me looking ahead. We're not done on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, likely going to hit 90 degrees again as we go into next week.
Steer clear traffic gets us to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is down in the Antioch area. We got a few cars pulled over to the shoulder of the road. Metro Police are there as well. This was part of the area that saw an earlier crash there at the exit at I-24 at exit 60 a short time ago. They've been able to get that out of there. But this crash down below has been with us for a little bit. This was part of the car that was involved with a bit of a smoke coming out of it. little bit earlier, we thought maybe there was the potential for a car fire. That did not happen, but it's still there on the shoulder. So heads up as you make that drive out in the Antioch area. That's going outbound, by the way. Here are your drive times right now. Mount Juliet into town at 37 minutes. Murfreesboro just over an hour at 71 minutes, about an hour and 10 minutes. Clarksville, not too bad, 63 minutes. That's typical for this time of the day, coming down from Montgomery County.
7:19 and happening now. Fox 17 News is recognizing that it was 6 months ago that we had deadly tornadoes come through the mid-state. And our Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker is joining us live this morning. And one of those communities hit particularly hard. That would be Hendersonville in Sumner County.
Yeah, so right now we're showing you a live look of the shopping plaza, and one of the areas that was hit the hardest was an antique store, miscellaneous, correct, Jen?
Yeah, so this was a shop right on Main Street next to the Ultimate Party store that got essentially leveled in that tornado. And if Madison were to pan to the left, so Madison, if you can just kind of swing it on over to the left, there's another shopping center, another strip mall over here that also took on a lot of damage. And you can see the damage still to the awning there. And if you just kind of keep panning, you'll see places like the Movement Church. There was a refinished furniture store down there that took on a lot of damage. And so many others through this strip mall that they are still today, 6 months later, trying to clean up and rebuild.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine 6 months and we're still here trying to rebuild with businesses who are trying to get back to work there, and just showing you some more of the damage in this area. We also have some updates as to how you can get involved. I know folks want to see how they can make a difference in their community. If you want those updates, you want to read more about that, go to fox17.com. Right now, though, in Operation Crime and Justice this Monday morning, Lebanon police arresting the man on your screen. Thursday night, he's suspected of breaking into cars over at Little Lamb's Child Care. It's off of McGregor Street, a daycare center. The suspect, his name is James Munchie.
7:23 is the time in the entertainment news this morning. Country music star Carly Pearce performed 2 sets this weekend, one at the Music City Center and then the other at the final night of the huge Nissan Stadium show that just happened last night.
So while Carly has certainly, been working through a packed schedule, she also recently revealed that she is managing all of this with a challenging new health concern. We have Fox 17 news anchor Megan O'Halloran with more.
Being center stage, putting on an electrifying performance, entertaining a crowd of thousands of cheering fans. It's a career highlight for most artists who perform at CMA Fest. Carly Pearce hits Nissan Stadium Sunday just days after making this announcement.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with pericarditis and a pericardial effusion, which is inflammation and fluid inside the sac of your heart. And so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go.
Centennial heart cardiologist Dr. Brian Doherty did not treat Carly, but explains her condition.
Usually precipitated by a virus. It's treatable. We treat the acute symptoms usually with anti-inflammatory medications, helps most people. And there are other medications that we can use if people have recurrent episodes.
Dr. Doherty says some people have a single episode and recover. Others are prone to having multiple episodes that vary in terms of severity and could take longer to recover.
In the acute phase, it's very painful. You know, pain is the predominant marker of the diagnosis. So managing pain is the predominant issue. Some of the complications that can relate to this are the development of fluid or accumulation around the outside of the heart, and on occasion that needs to be drained.
Carly says she's working with a team of doctors to safely continue touring through her recovery.
I kind of have to make adjustments just because my heart rate quite literally cannot get above a certain point. And so fans have been really nice. I had my first 3 shows this past weekend with Tim McGraw, and they were very kind and showed me a lot of grace. So it looks a little different right now, but we're making it.
Megan O'Halloran, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
7:25, taking a look at a forecast here for you. It's kind of carefree today and tomorrow, but it's just kind of gearing up for what's going to make its way in late week when heat takes over, and it just, once it's here, it's going nowhere for a good almost week straight. 80 degrees this afternoon, nothing to complain about when it comes to today and tomorrow. Low humidity, a little bit below average for our actual high temperature. We should be in the mid-80s this time of the year. Sunset will be at 8:04, and you'll have plenty of it all day long. The weekend, completely different. Taking a look. We're laboring through some heat both days. 94 degrees on Saturday. 96 degrees on Sunday. No storms. Now there is a 20% chance I've got penciled in here. That's going to change one way or the other. Just a little indicator that I saw that there could possibly be a shower or two. We're still way too early for any of that, but the humidity going to climb, that's for sure. So we're going to feel like we're in the mid to upper 90s, if not close to 100, both days of the weekend. Getting the Fox 17 Code Red weather app will help you out when it comes to beating the heat and finding those hour-by-hour temperatures that we put in for you each and every day, multiple times a day, to keep you ready to go and make your plans.
Steer clear traffic at 727. A quick look outside. This is going to be I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. You've been watching the crash here throughout the morning. Still there on the shoulder, dealing with it. Minor delays at best. This is going outbound, so it's really not that big of a deal right now. 65 at Trinity Lane. They're on that north side. Typical traffic for this time of the day. A bit of a slowdown. You may want to use things like Ellington Parkway or Dickerson Pike. Best way to steer clear from the congestion coming in from the north side.
Fox 17 News giving you a chance to get a couple of tickets for Brew at the Zoo. It was exciting to introduce this to you last week. This is one of the fan favorite local events here in Nashville. This is where you can go check out the animals, see and hear live music. We've got local food and, of course, dozens of craft beers at the Brew at the Zoo. So if you want to get a couple of free tickets, all you have to do is scan the QR code right there on your screen. Just a reminder, this is a 21 and older event. You can take the kids to the zoo all day.
Yes.
Then you got to take the kids home.
Yeah.
And come back.
They're not for the brew.
If you need complete contest details, just head to fox17.com/contest.
Zoo, but not brew. Switching gears very quickly, and a story out of Kentucky. That is where one family is missing their child, and they're still trying to find him while...
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning at 7:30 right now. The Opry welcomes a new country star into the home. We'll get highlights from the Lainey Wilson introduction.
Waking up here, fog finally starting to lift. If you've been with us the last few hours, that's been the main story. Now, all focus comes into play when it comes to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Big heat wave coming in.
Steer clear traffic at I-65 at Trinity Lane. There on the north side. Typical slow go coming into town. We're going to tell you the best ways to deal with this and anything else happening out there on the roads.
All right, a lot to get to, but let's start by saying thank you for joining us here on a Monday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live and local through 9. New this half hour, the family of a missing 8-month-old girl is set to appear in court today. This is in Kentucky, where state police say they could not find baby Maya Tucker during a welfare check at her Reynolds Station home. Now, this whole story started last week. Officers arrested Maya's parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd. Both of them face a list of charges, including abandonment of a minor and child abuse. By the way, Maya's grandfather also due in court on the same charges. So where is baby Maya?
Well, Maya has brown hair and green eyes. Police say if you have any information about where she is, to go ahead and call Kentucky State Police. Okay, that number is 270-826-3312.
We've also got the story posted over on our social media accounts, and we're asking you to share it just with the hopes of maybe somebody somewhere knowing something.
Getting some answers there. Let's check in now with our Code Red meteorologist. He says it's going to be a very hot week. He wants some sunblock, some sunglasses, a hat.
Hydration, shade, all of those things are going to be in definite full force on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right now I'm seeing a few good little things to kick off the day, and that is our fog is lifting as we speak. Now, there are still going to be a few patches where it is dense in spots, but much more isolated now than it was even an hour ago, but still picking up some pockets in the Cumberland Plateau, and they've mainly been right around I-40 cutting all the way through Middle Tennessee throughout this morning. So foggy start for some, great start to the week when it comes to temperatures. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're not talking about that when it comes to beating the heat. Those days are going to be great, but a spicy looking weekend, big time. Taking a look here. We're all clear for Code Red. Hotter late week. So again, not for right now. And taking a look, beer trucks coming back through town, restocking from the weekend, 61 degrees on our way to 81. It's a slow climb. We'll spend most of the day in the 70s, maybe 1 or 2 hours right around that 80-degree mark, then 81 tomorrow, 85 on Wednesday. And there we go. Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend. Low to middle 90s. However, humidity will be on the rise going into the weekend too, so we have to start using the words heat index by the end of this week. We'll see what that means when it comes to the feels like temperatures. And we'll also maybe you have plans to go to Bonnaroo. We'll look at that forecast for that 4-day music festival in a few minutes.
All right, let's get to your steer clear traffic. Let's go to Ellington Parkway here. Ellington Parkway at Cleveland Street, just east of downtown. You can see here the traffic is moving along here, inching along really as you make that drive over from the East Nashville area. This is a good way to try to get past some of the congestion on the I-65 at Trinity Lane area. Believe it or not, it can be a little worse over there than this. These cars are moving here. Sometimes on Trinity, they're not moving at all. These 65 at Trinity at that particular section. You can also use Dickerson Pike as a good way to steer clear coming from the north to the south. Gallatin Pike also. Here is a look from the east side. I-40 at Spence Lane, making that drive in. Things are typically slow this time of the day. Watch out for the sun glare if you're driving out to the east.
7:34 right now. Operation Crime and Justice. Metro Police are investigating a case of road rage in Antioch that's left an 18-year-old with injuries after the shooting. In fact, what you're looking at here is video of what appears to be bullet holes in one of the cars involved. Police initially reported to calls of a shooting just off Murfreesboro Pike Saturday night. You can see one car slammed into an SUV, and then again what appeared to be bullet holes in that car. That 18-year-old rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We're working to get updates, and as we do, we'll have them for you live through 9.
We're also working to get updates on this story. Look at this video showing a car on fire. It was Sunday afternoon. Smoky Barn News reported that this particular fire that we're showing you photos and videos of happened on I-24 right before exit 40. It's not clear right now as to if anyone was hurt. We're working to get some more updates. We'll be sure to update this story though for you both on air and online over at fox17.com. We're also keeping a very close eye on entertainment news because singer and songwriter all-around star Lainey Wilson is the newest Grand Ole Opry member.
Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood on hand to welcome her. And it was a bit of a surprise announcement, as they like to do at the Opry. But now Lainey Wilson is in that exclusive club after a nearly 10-year journey in Nashville. Wilson is a Grammy winner and the 2024 Entertainer of the Year, also Female Artist of the Year, Academy of Country Music Awards nominee and winner. During the night, by the way, she performed several of her songs, plus did a song with Opry member Terry Clark and Hall of Famer Winona Judd.
This right here is the highest honor for me. It feels like that stamp of approval from everybody that stood right here.
Wilson said she remembers sitting in the Opry audience at just 9 years old, dreaming of one day standing in the Opry circle. As a member of the house that country music built, Lainey Wilson is a very busy woman. Well, coming up on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, there is a cat crisis right here in Middle Tennessee. So our Dennis Ferrier has the story and how you can help.
And right now, a couple different live looks from the heart of Music City, USA. Wrapping up one music festival and moving on to the next. CMA Fest all done for the 51st year. Now we look ahead to Bonnaroo on Father's Day weekend.
Maybe it began back home as summer put on a show and fireflies danced all around me. But now that sparkle lights up the sky and everyone we hold close. Because all along, you've been the inspiration for it all.
Enjoy 2 days at Dollywood or Splash Country for less than $65 per day.
Dollywood, love every moment.
Mattress shopping doesn't have to be confusing. At Sleep Outfitters, you can put your worries to rest. Here, we ask the right questions and answer all of yours. We make it easy to get the sleep and savings you deserve. And during the Sleep Outfitters 4th of July sale, you'll save up to 75% on select Sealy mattresses. Queens start at just $199. That's up to 75% off America's most trusted mattress brand. Only at Sleep Outfitters, the way mattress shopping should be.
Car wreck? Get Hughes & Coleman and get it done. Insurance companies are making it tougher than ever for car accident victims, charging higher premiums and then trying to shortchange you on your injury claim. But no matter what they do, one fact remains. On average, car accident victims with a lawyer get over 3 times more money than those without one. Now that you know the facts, don't settle for less. Get Hughes & Coleman and get it done. Call 800-800-4600.
When it comes to remodeling your bath, there's fact and there's fiction. Fiction, it's too expensive to remodel your bath. Fact, with Bathfitter's tub-over-tub process and hundreds of design options, you'll get the bath you want to fit your budget. Fiction, bath remodels take forever and tear the house apart. Fact, Bathfitter installation takes just 1 day to fit your schedule. Get the bath that fits you. Bathfitter, it just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
We love our dads, and they love us. Celebrate with everything he needs to have fun out there. Find the perfect Father's Day gift at Academy Sports and Outdoors with up to $400 off saves.
Do you think you have what it takes to make like it never even happened happen?
Join ServPro and experience great pay, the best training available,
woo!
and career advancement. Visit servpro.com/careers and apply today.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Matthews Nissan.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News This Morning. 7:40 is the time. A live look over at the White House, where today President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, will be back in the courtroom.
Of course, Hunter Biden, the president's son, not in court in Washington. The trial itself is happening up the road in Delaware, is Wilmington to be exact. It is a federal court case involving Hunter Biden buying a gun while he was still in the middle of dealing with illegal drugs. And of course, that is why they've taken him to court. It's been going on all of last week. Closing arguments are expected later today or possibly even tomorrow. And then the jury can come up with exactly what to do. Jury case or a judge case here. In this particular, it's a jury case here. So yeah, they had jury selection. You're right. The jury will decide exactly what's going to happen on the back end of that. Again, though, live look there. It's a lot of intrigue. A lot of people have been asking the president what he thinks about it. He says he supports his son, but not much beyond that.
7:41, time to look at your forecast and get some extra help like we do every morning here with our dog of the day. We have JD. I'm going to tell you now, get as many dog walks as you can in between today and the end of Wednesday, because we're going to have a lot of aggressive heat that's going to settle in Thursday into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, Luke, if you and JD want to get out there for a couple of walks a day, I'm sure he'd appreciate it too. Take a look at your dog walking forecast. It's beautiful outside right now. It's almost a little bit cool. We have temperatures upper 50s and low 60s. We'll stay in the 60s until right around 10 o'clock this morning. We'll creep back into the 70s, and then we'll hit right near 80 this afternoon. Sunshine the entire day. We had a really foggy start here, and that fog finally starting to lift for us. You can always send in your dog of the day photos by going to my Facebook page. Right there, you find that pinned post at the top of the page. Whether you want to share a story where you guys are from, any of that, that's how you get your dog right here on Fox 17 News this morning.
Steer clear traffic for you at 7:42. Quick look here at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is just east of town. This is in the Antioch area where police are continuing on the scene there as a result of a crash. Multi-vehicles involved there. Once they get this cleared, it should be smooth sailing coming out of the Antioch area. But right now, a small slowdown at best coming in from the Antioch area on I-24. We'll continue to follow that and anything else that gets in your way.
7:42 is your time. The TBI continues to search for a missing man out of Nashville. In fact, the TBI issued a silver alert Friday for John Hill Jr., last seen around Albion Street around 5 o'clock Thursday morning. That is, by the way, near Hadley Park and TSU. Any information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Well, coming up, the Tennessee Volunteers setting brand new personal records in a game last night against the Purple Aces of Evansville. We'll have the very latest
weather wrap. Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Well, Nashville's cat community is sounding a desperate alarm. There are no vacancies for stray cats anywhere. We're talking at any of the government shelters or the rescue centers.
Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier has more on the effort now, Dennis, to save the feline friends. It's this morning's Ferrier Files.
That's right. Dogs may be man's best friend, but there are plenty of people who fancy cats. Nevertheless, Nashville is overrun with unwanted cats.
This is the kitten corral at a foster home for the Music City Animal Rescue. You might think most of the stray and unwanted cats are housed at Metro Animal Control or the Nashville Humane Association. But the truth is, almost half of cats in shelters are living in cat rescues like this one. Vicki Harris runs the Music City Animal Rescue.
There's a limited space. Animal control is a physical location, and there is only so much they can do. There's only so much room. There's only so many people to take care of them. And they are currently and have been at capacity for months.
Most of you probably don't realize, even those of you who just love animals, that most of the stray kittens in Middle Tennessee are not in the animal shelter or shelter. They are in rescues. And they're a lot of work, and there's a lot of kittens.
A shelter is no place for a nursing mom or tiny babies. There's just the staff, you know, they just don't have that, and they need that extra support and the extra attention that a rescue can give.
Vicki Harris can't stand to see cats suffer, and so she spends about $178 a kitten getting them ready for adoption. As generous as she is, she's overwhelmed.
Last month, we took in 4 moms, pregnant moms, with babies. Each one of them had basically 5 to 6 kittens apiece. We took in 18 other cats and kittens, and then we had, that's just from Metro Animal Control.
Harris is tied into the cat rescue community. She knows exactly where all the cats are being kept, and while she and her friends are doing everything they can, she knows this problem is just too big. There are too many cats that need a home.
I don't think we're going to spay and neuter our way out of this situation.
These cat rescues could really use some help. Most of the donations, of course, people think, I'm going to donate. What do? They go to the Humane Association, right? They go, oh, I want Metro Animal Shelter. But underneath, kind of the legs of the table, are these little rescues that are doing the work that nobody else wants to do. Because a mom and a kitten, for instance, that's not a good place for a shelter because they need constant care, and it's just kind of a big animal factory.
I was just asking you while this story was airing, but her spending that much money per cat, she's amazing for doing that.
It is $178, and then of course if somebody gets really sick or...
We know those vet fees are pricey.
They add up. They
you
sure
are,
do.
because you're dog people, right? Both of you.
We like cats too.
I know, but you I mean,
we
tell
also
the
have
truth, you're
allergies,
dog people.
So have severe allergies and asthma that does not allow for a cat.
But listen, if you want to help, we've got Dennis's story posted online right now. You can share it. You can read more to find out how you can help anytime at fox17.com.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
7:49, taking a look at your forecast for you here today. And this is one thing we're going to see change here going into 8 o'clock. Every hour our fog has been getting lighter and lighter, but there was a dense fog advisory overnight through 8 a.m. Visibility still might be a little bit touch and go depending upon where you're at, but overall picture's looking a lot better and we're seeing a lot of sun starting off the day for us here. Split week for temperatures. I'm going to show you the 7-day. You're going to know exactly what I mean. Half it, excellent. Half of it, you might not even want to go outside. We're talking about a lot of heat that's going to be hot and then hot and continue day after day. And that's the second half of our forecast. Those are the 3 big things to know to start off this new week. We're all clear for code red. Not a problem there when it comes to humidity, pollen counts, none of that. No rain at any point this week. So what we're just tracking is incoming very hot and uncomfortable air for the upcoming weekend. 61 degrees right now. Very comfortable air to start the day. Just not going to end the week this way, unfortunately. 75 degrees by 11 o'clock. 80 degrees will be our temperature here, right around that, give or take a degree or 2 depending upon your elevation. But overall, a great afternoon for everyone. You can leave the umbrella in the closet until we get ourselves to Sunday or Monday of next week. That also means know when to mow. With no rain, you're fine Thursday and Friday. We're just going to be real hot doing it. And here's why. Take a look at your 7-day forecast. I would mow today or tomorrow, or maybe even wait till Wednesday. If you can do it Wednesday evening, you'll still be comfortable. Low 80s today and tomorrow, middle 80s on Wednesday, and then low to middle 90s Thursday through Sunday. We don't cut it off there. Monday and Tuesday likely in the 90s as well.
Steer clear traffic at I-24. This is a look here, 24 Hickory Hollow. As you make that drive into town, Metro Police on the scene there, dealing with the leftovers of a crash on the shoulder of the road. TDOT there as well, waiting on tow trucks at this point, not causing big problems coming out of town. Just something to show out there for you this morning. Overall drive times look like this. Mount Juliet coming in at 37 minutes. Murfreesboro just about an hour coming in from Rutherford County, doing great time for this time of the morning. 34 minutes coming in from Franklin. We'll try to find something down there to show you coming up in a few minutes.
Justin, thank you so much. In sports news, the Vols reigned victorious after last night's Game 3 against Evansville and this Super Regional. So, of course, we got to show you some of the highlights.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Vols didn't like it when Evansville beat them in Game 2.
Nope.
I don't think they took that lightly. So the Vols going into last night's game with the #1 seed. It's the second time in the program history that they've done that. But the Purple Aces, I mean, they were hot Saturday. Sunday, a different story. Scored 1 in the first inning and then scoreless for the rest of the game. That would be it for the University of Evansville. The Vols dominating every inning after that. I was telling Erica, I think the Vols had hit 5 home runs by the time I went to bed, and that was in like the second inning.
Hey, you love to see it, right? The Vols now advance to the College World Series. That's going to, of course, be over in Omaha. By the way, this will be the team's third appearance in the big game in just 4 years. So, by the way, the Vols also, they're not the only team headed to the College World Series. Kentucky is making history with their first College World Series entry. The Wildcats beat Oregon State 3-2 yesterday. SEC teams now make up at least half of the contenders in the World Series. Surprised?
I mean, not really. I don't guess. The SEC is just such a dominant program, you know, and people who aren't in the SEC love to hate on the SEC.
True.
But listen, I mean, when you got teams that show up, you got teams that show up. So good stuff for Tennessee and Kentucky joining teams like Florida, Texas A&M. And if Georgia beats NC State tonight, they'll be in as well.
Well, back to the farm. Coming up, we're going to have the very latest on Bonnaroo starting in just a couple of days on Thursday. And it's going to be a scorcher. Well, happening this week on Thursday, the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival is back in Manchester. Big names like Post Malone, Megan Thee Stallion, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are headlining this year. And listen, the 4-day music festival includes more than 150 performances. And more than 65,000 people are expected to enjoy the musical and comedy acts this year at the farm. So that also means TDOT. They are busy preparing for the massive crowds that are going to be pouring into Manchester this week. We always talk about the traffic issues that ensue. So they're reassuring folks that, yeah, there's not going to be any construction during the festival and that emergency vehicles will use county roads to keep the traffic, well, at lower volumes, but we always know it's just going to be a lot of people out there. The temperatures are going to be very hot. So you were saying earlier, Jen, just go ahead and start hydrating now if you're heading out there.
Absolutely. And tell your friends, right? Call your friends, call your mama, whoever else is coming. to let them know to hydrate now. Hey, switching gears a little bit this morning, there's another event happening here in Nashville, and when is there not? But this one is one where you can get some free tickets on us. We're giving away 2 tickets for Brew at the Zoo. It's happening June 14th, which is this Friday at the Nashville Zoo. They've got live music, local food trucks, dozens of craft beers, plus it's in the zoo, so you can see the animals. Now, a reminder, this is 21 and older. So yes, you can take the kids to the zoo during the day, but no, you can't keep them there at night for this event. If you want to enter for your chance to win those 2 free tickets, scan the QR code right there on your screen. Message and data rates may apply. Head to fox17.com for more details.
So maybe Brew at the Zoo is good for Father's Day, which is this weekend. And right now, Fox 17 News, we were asking this question on our Fox Nashville X account. Have you bought a Father's Day present yet? A lot of y'all need to get to work. 71.7% say no, you haven't bought your present just yet, but there's still some time to go. Let us know what you think by going to cast your vote on our Fox Nashville X account. So Greg, the question is, have you purchased a Father's Day present yet? You're also a dog dad, so maybe a gift is coming your way.
I don't know. I don't need anything from Obi because she's given me enough love. But yeah, I've got a gift going. And maybe tomorrow's question should be, Do you plan on purchasing a Father's Day gift for Dad?
Well, there you go.
Because that's a whole other question to begin with. So are you behind on it, or are you just slacking off a little bit completely? It's a good question. Taking a look here. Forecast for Father's Day is going to be very, very hot. We're talking Bonnaroo right now. We'll work our way into the weekend. Here we go. We were saying hydrate and light clothing. This is no joke. 90 degrees on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, 92 on Sunday. Humidity will build. We're going to feel like we're in the mid-90s most of the end of this week and most of the festival itself, so keep that in mind. Nighttime temperatures are very unforgiving as well, in the upper 60s and low 70s. 80 degrees today. Humidity's gone for a little while. Took a little vacation, but it'll be back for the weekend. Below average temperatures for us here, so we'll take that. We're supposed to be in the middle 80s this time of the year. Sunset today will be at 8:05. You'll get plenty of it, but maybe you want to sit outside and enjoy the nice weather before all the heat builds later on this week. Bonfire forecast this evening. 79 degrees, no wind, so no worries about any smoke kicking around from the bonfire. And then we'll have a temperature of 72 at 8 p.m. and we'll work our way into the upper 60s by 10 o'clock. So a great evening ahead. We'll work into all of that heat and humidity coming up in the next check on my forecast as we go into our 8 o'clock hour.
Steer clear traffic out there. Let's get to it. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard near Conference Drive on that north side. Traffic up there moving along really fine. Vietnam vets here. This is close to Conference. I-65, that area. We were dealing with a bit of a slowdown here a few moments ago. Whatever caused it, though, has moved out of the way, so we're in much better shape there. Coming in from the east side, also looking good. There from the Spence Lane area on I-40 near the airport, things have been peaceful as well. Overall, not that bad. Major crash near I-24 Hickory Hollow a little bit earlier, but that too has largely cleared up.
Right now, we're taking a look at the stories that are trending over on our website at fox17.com. I know that earlier I was scrolling through and I saw the story about the 8-month-old Kentucky baby that is missing, a story that we were covering extensively last week, and now we're sharing some more updates about that story. If you want to read more, go to our website, fox17.com. Stay with us, though. Our 8 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, the cleanup efforts that are still underway now, 6 months after the deadly December tornadoes. We'll take you live to Hendersonville, where some of those efforts are underway.
And waking up this morning to cool temperatures, low humidity. I don't have any rain in the forecast this week, but I have 5 or 6 days and we're talking heat, and that's the longest stretch so far this year.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. Waiting on tow trucks here to get this out of the way. We're going to tell you about other things happening on the roads.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Monday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m.
Well, new this Monday morning, 2 men are accused of attacking a woman with a fire extinguisher and then robbing her. Take a look at this map where it happened. Metro Police say it took place Sunday at a Bellevue apartment complex right off of Old Hickory Boulevard. Officers say the woman was walking her dog when Keyshawn DeMumbrium and Lamar Maddox sprayed her with a fire extinguisher, and then they took her bag, her cell phone, and her car keys.
They say that later they found the 2 men near the entrance of that apartment complex. DeMumbrium and Maddox both charged with robbery. It was 6 months ago when so many of our mid-state neighbors woke up to life-changing destruction. We had major tornadoes that blew through the mid-state on December 9th, causing damage from Clarksville through Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Springfield.
7 people died in those tornadoes, 4 people killed in Clarksville, and then 3 over in Madison, including 2 children. We do know dozens of people were hurt as well, and hundreds of homes were either damaged or just destroyed. During all the chaos, so many Tennesseans, they have since come together, just rallying around the community to provide relief. And we know that local help came from both local and federal governments, and disaster areas were ultimately declared.
Fox 17 News does have a live look this morning from Hendersonville, where the Movement Church is located, for example. That's in a strip mall right off of Main Street, where other places like Miscellaneous, which is a local antique type of shop, was just decimated. So we'll be bringing you live updates through 9 a.m.
Right now, though, we do want to check in with our Code Red meteorologist to get you started with your Monday forecast.
Yeah, nice start to a week. The weekend did give us some rain on and off here and there, but the temperatures were at least held at bay for CMA Fest and everything outdoors. Now, this upcoming weekend, we're going to switch it. We're going to have no rain, but we're going to have temperatures that are almost aggressively hot in some spots. We'll be in the middle 90s on Saturday and Sunday, and that's our next weather maker. It's the incoming heat. One thing we've been dealing with this morning that is now getting better, as thought would happen, our dense fog advisory has been allowed to expire here as of 3 minutes ago, so a patch or two might be out there, but for the most part, not a whole lot to work through. Just the heat, and then really we have days to get ready for it. We see it coming well before it gets here, but the first half of the week is fantastic for anything and everything outdoors. There's not going to be an uncomfortable day until Thursday in the forecast, and that comes to pollen, humidity, no rain. It's all clear for us here until that heat does get here late week into the weekend itself. Right now we're at 67 degrees. We've seen a quick little uptick in temperature since the fog has been able to burn off thanks to that sunshine that's been up here for a good 2.5 hours or so. Temperatures are going to be right in the low 80s for most of our afternoon, so 1 o'clock will feel much like it does at 5 o'clock. Not many changes. Forecast, though, will eventually end up making us hot. So what should you do? I would do the car washing, the lawn mowing, get it done earlier in the week when it's not just so oppressively hot out. Let's give it a little extra time on the 7-day forecast, because this could end up being our longest stretch of back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Yeah, it's 4 in a row, 90-degree days of the year. We've got 80 for today, 81 degrees tomorrow. 2 great days in a row. 85, a little bit warmer on Wednesday. Little humidity begins to come in, and you notice everything change Thursday and Friday. Low to middle 90s will stay middle to potentially upper 90s. I've got that 20% chance for a shower and a few clouds on Sunday. If that were to move in a little bit later in the day or overnight into Monday, and we don't have the cloud cover, that 96 could end up being a 97 or a 98, just to give you perspective. And Monday, trending to be in the 90s once again. So just because the weekend wraps up doesn't mean the heat's going along with it.
Let's get to steer clear traffic. We want to show you the latest happening on the south side. Forgive the camera there, but it's buffering along. That's I-65 at Moore's Lane there on that south side. Traffic moving along fine there. We don't have to straighten out the camera. Listen, it's going. You're doing okay. You see that? 34 minutes coming in from Franklin there on the south side. I've been fighting with that camera a little bit this morning, so you know you're feeling the frustration coming out here. 64 minutes coming in from Clarksville this morning. We're doing okay there. 58 minutes. Nice. Coming in from Murfreesboro. Now, we are dealing with a bit of a crash happening at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is going outbound. This has been with us for hours now. They're waiting on tow trucks to come get this out of the way. This car right here, we thought it was going to burst into flames a little bit earlier this morning. Thankfully, that did not happen.
Justin, thank you. In Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police ultimately arresting, we understand, one of the suspects regarding the Tanger outlet shopping incident that sparked a viral video.
It did, and now police say they've arrested a 15-year-old over the weekend, but they're still searching for a couple of other people involved. So what you're looking at behind us here is the viral video of shoppers who were at the Tanger outlets blocking the thieves inside the Perfume Mania at Tanger, and the 3 people who were in there, I mean, you could see them just grabbing up everything they could. They eventually got out the back and dropped everything, but Metro Police say as a result of all this, they're now increasing their presence at the mall and still looking for the 2 other people involved.
I mean, thank goodness those people were out there. Yeah. Well, after the break, a Nashville judge says the criminal justice system is not made for those with mental illnesses, and she now has some suggestions that she believes will stop crimes before they happen.
Justin McFarland with that story in just a couple of minutes.
Also ahead, Fox 17 News keeping a very close eye on traffic. Your steer clear traffic updates. We're watching out for an incident that's happening out there, and we're going to tell you why the heat is on here in Music City. Stay with us.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting.
8:09 is the time, and new this morning, a Nashville judge, Melissa Blackburn, is now making a plea directly to the city council for more investment in mental health. Now, the judge says that the lack of mental health tracking is a big part of the reason that the city is seeing such a big repeat offender increase as of late. She says it's important that people who commit crimes get the right kind of help and not just punishment. So she's asking the city to create a position to track mental health related crimes to make sure that the offenders are getting the right kind of help.
What do we do to better serve them? How do we keep them from being rearrested? I mean, the whole purpose of this, Council Lady, is to keep individuals from being rearrested and to try to give them the supported housing the medication, the support, whatever we need to do, and try to change their life earlier in life and change that trajectory so they don't end up with us now at this point in their life.
And when she says with us, she means the criminal justice system, because she is a judge. Now, it would cost $75,000 a year to create this position. Right now, the judge says her administrative assistant is doing the best she can to keep up with the mental health related crimes and the people that they see. Happening right now, a mid-state dam will be closed for repairs, which means you may have to take a detour. And we're talking to you out there in DeKalb County. The Centerville Dam in DeKalb County will be closed today, starting as of 10 minutes ago until 4 p.m. That means no driving along State Route 141. That's at the top of the dam. Recreation areas near that dam will also be closed. Again, they plan to reopen everything around 4 p.m.
Happening next in your forecast, we're gearing up for some very hot weather by the end of the week. We'll look at how many 90-degree days we might stack up together in a row.
And steer clear traffic takes us down to I-24. The tow truck finally arrived, and they've got some work to do. I'm going to tell you more.
Inspection for free.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News This Morning. It's 8:13 and new this morning, a follow-up to a story that we've been following in crisis in the classroom. The Department of Children's Services found evidence of abuse by a Clarksville teacher.
We are now learning the district, though, let the teacher retire in good standing. Our Fox 17 News investigative reporter, Amanda Chin, has been following this case since the very beginning, and now you're sharing another update. Good morning, Amanda.
Yes, good morning, guys. Well, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for the Crockett family. And while the district attorney has decided not to file any criminal charges, the mother continues to fight for justice for her 4-year-old son. Your dedication and loyalty is greatly appreciated. Those words come directly from the Clarksville-Montgomery School District leadership after approving this teacher's retirement.
If you, as a school district, think that it is acceptable for a teacher to put hands on a child in that manner, you should not be working for the school system.
Fox 17 News, Amanda Chin.
After our initial story aired in February, the Department of Children's Services reopened this case and found evidence of child abuse and or neglect by Stacy Williams, a teacher who was working at Minglewood Elementary School. It all started in September when Jakira Crockett says Williams pulled her son's hair, grabbed his wrist, and put her hand on his mouth. Her son, Landon, has autism and is non-speaking. Through a Fox 17 News public records request, we verified those details through a letter from the director of schools who saw the video. Williams denies putting her hands on Landon. We have tried reaching out to her attorney for an interview. We are waiting to hear back. But our Fox 17 News investigation reveals Williams put in her request for retirement a day before our initial story aired, when the school district knew we had been working on the story. Records show Human Resources informed Williams the next day her retirement had been approved. That means this teacher will receive retiree health insurance benefits as well as life insurance.
I need my son to know that as parents, we did everything we could. Because let me tell you, there is no amount of money in this world that will change what we feel.
I asked the district why the director of schools allowed her to retire in good standing, although DCS's most recent investigation found evidence of abuse. A spokesperson tells me in part, by law and policy, employees are afforded due process. Stacy Williams was a tenured teacher with no prior disciplinary actions in her file. The statement goes on to say, for any employee, if a substantiation is upheld by DCS for child abuse, CMCSS will seek to terminate employment. For tenured teachers, state law requires written charges of dismissal to be presented to the school board for approval. I followed up and asked why written charges of dismissal were not filed. A spokesperson says the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System approves an application for retirement, and since she was eligible per law, the district certified eligibility.
Interesting, Amanda. Now, curious as to whether there have been any appeals on anything here.
Yeah, so since she does get due process, I have not been able to find out if she has appealed the DCS decision. Unfortunately, DCS cannot tell me or the mother actually, if she has. The teacher's attorney did get back to me late last week and tells me that they are, quote, prepared to defend Williams in any litigation that comes from the Crockett family, and they feel very strongly that the appropriate place to defend those claims is through the judicial process. I did follow up and ask if he would be able to confirm if she did appeal, but I am waiting for that response. But of course, we will keep you updated when we get that response.
All right, Amanda Chen, thank you for that update. By the way, Crisis in the Classroom is our Fox 17 News commitment to not only exposing problems, but also finding solutions for issues in our schools. So if you're watching and you say, hey, I have a story that you all need to cover, do us a favor and email us news@fox17.com or call our tip line. The number is 615-266-4149.
All right, 8:18 is the time right now, and we have our Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobas here to tell us that right now things are looking good in Nashville.
Looking real good, feeling really good too. You know, sometimes we get that day where it looks nice out the window and you walk outside and it's not so great. That's not today. Today is 67 humidity-free degrees, and we're going to be in the low 80s later on this afternoon. It's the question of what to wear. You can leave all the rain gear at home. You can go with whatever makes you comfortable in the low 80s with no humidity. There you go. So wardrobe is at full disposal today. Taking a look out the door this morning, we're already heating up a little, and that's helped get rid of some fog we had a few hours ago. 67 degrees at 9, 72 degrees at 10, and 75 will be your temperature at 11 o'clock. But we must really enjoy today, tomorrow, and Wednesday while we can, because if you're not a big fan of the 90s and humidity, you're not going to like the end of the forecast. 92 on Thursday, 94 on Friday, and middle 90s on Saturday and Sunday. You got to find ways to beat the heat and stay hydrated heading into the end of this one.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get to I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway coming in from the Antioch area. You can see for yourself with Metro Police there loading up. Couple of cars there onto a flatbed about to tow them away. This is going to be coming in from the east side of town as you leave Nashville going towards Smyrna, towards Laverne. That's where you're going to see this crash. Has been with us now for several hours. One lane shut down now, but it's going to be out of there pretty soon. Oh, it's a bit of a slow go. 65 at 24 on the north side there, coming down from Hendersonville and Madison. It's congested, shall we say. You want to try to take Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike. This could be your best bet to steer clear right now. That drive time coming down from Hendersonville, about 35 minutes.
Right now, Fox 17 News photojournalist Madison Spraker giving us a live look over in Hendersonville.
Not just another claim.
Entertainment news this morning. Country music star Carly Pearce performed at least 2 times this weekend. One time at the Music City Center, and then another time at the final stadium show last night at Nissan Stadium in front of a packed house.
Yeah, and while she's kept a full schedule performing at CMA Fest plus other concerts, she's also revealed that she's doing all of this with a challenging new health diagnosis.
Fox 17 News' Megan O'Halloran has the story.
Being center stage, putting on an electrifying performance, entertaining a crowd of thousands of cheering fans. It's a career highlight for most artists who perform at CMA Fest. Carly Pearce hits Nissan Stadium Sunday, just days after making this announcement.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with pericarditis and a pericardial effusion, which is inflammation and fluid inside the sac of your heart. And so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go.
Centennial heart cardiologist Dr. Brian Doherty did not treat Carly, but explains her condition.
Usually precipitated by a virus. It's treatable. We treat the acute symptoms usually with anti-inflammatory medications, helps most people. And there are other medications that we can use if people have recurrent episodes.
Dr. Doherty says some people have a single episode and recover. Others are prone to having multiple episodes that vary in terms of severity and could take longer to recover.
In the acute phase, it's very painful. You know, pain is the predominant marker of the diagnosis. So managing pain is the predominant issue. Some of the complications that can relate to this are the development of fluid or accumulation around the outside of the heart, and on occasion that needs to be drained.
Carly says she's working with a team of doctors to safely continue touring through her recovery.
I kind of have to make adjustments just because my heart rate quite literally cannot get above a certain point. And so fans have been really nice. I had my first 3 shows this past weekend with Tim McGraw, and they were very kind and showed me a lot of grace. So it looks a little different right now, but we're making it.
Megan O'Halloran, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
25. Taking a sneak peek ahead of the weekend when all the heat and humidity return and then they take over completely. 94 degrees on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. This beginning of the week is really nice, but we are definitely going to be dealing with a lot of heat here both days. No storms, so that's one good thing we have for us. But yes, this is going to be a weekend where you're finding a lot of shade if you can. If you've got to be outside, which many of us do, extra water breaks, all those things are going to be very helpful. You can also scan the QR code right there or go to the App Store, Google Play Store, just type in code RED. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app. It will help you out here on hot days, on stormy days. We have you covered from temperatures to Doppler radar to warnings, everything you need. As far as connecting, well, feel free to on our X pages, Twitter, good place to go for any breaking weather updates, and then you can always follow along on any other social media outlet you might like as well. Coming up in our 8:30 half hour, we'll look ahead to connecting the dots between today's great 80-degree day and that very hot weekend.
Steer clear traffic gets you out the door this morning at I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is over in the Antioch area. We are dealing with a couple of cars being loaded up onto the flatbed, and then eventually, at some point, they'll clear this. This has been a very active little area here over the last few hours, really all morning. Since the fog from earlier this morning all the way until now, we've had some kind of drama going on here at 24, leaving the city, going towards Antioch. But again, the flatbed truck is there to take away some of those vehicles. Here's 40 at Donaldson Pike. Hey, if you're waking up this morning, maybe you didn't get that early morning flight, maybe you settled for that 10 o'clock flight. You're doing good getting out there towards B&A. No big problems out there. Yesterday, they had a large amount of traffic out here at this very camera. The camera was backed up. The camera was not backed up. The traffic was backed up for miles here. Much better here this morning.
8:26 right now. The family of a missing baby is set to appear in court today. We'll talk about the...
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Monday morning, the Opry welcoming another country star into their home, and chances are you recognize her. We're going to tell you more and hear more from Lainey Wilson.
And a look at the forecast here of lifting fog and now abundant sunshine. How many more comfortable days we've got before everything changes and we get to a very hot summer pattern.
And this is going to be I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway as they continue to load up cars after a multi-car crash. We'll tell you what else is happening with Steer Clear traffic.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Monday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m. One of the stories that we're following this morning, the family of a missing 8-month-old baby girl set to appear in court today. And mind you, that baby is still missing. Kentucky State Police say they could not find Maya Tucker, 8 months old, during a welfare check that they did at her Reynolds Station home in Kentucky last week.
Officers arrested Maya's parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd. Both face a list of charges, including abandonment of a minor and child abuse. And police say Maya's grandfather is also due in court on the same charges. Maya, by the way, has brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about where she possibly could be, you are asked to call Kentucky State Police. That number is right here at the bottom of your screen. It is 270-826-3312.
Right now, so many of our neighbors across Middle Tennessee are still cleaning up from the December tornadoes. It was 6 months ago yesterday that those tornadoes blew through the mid-state, killing 7 people in all. Now, fortunately, as we take a live look from Hendersonville, they did not have any deaths as a result of the tornadoes, but look at the damage that's still there. What you're looking at here is a live look from Main Street, where the store Miscellaneous once stood. It pretty much got leveled, and then they had essentially a wrecking ball come in and take the rest of it down. And the strip mall, just to the left of it here, you can see still has a lot of damage. Still trying to make repairs to this strip mall where several businesses were impacted.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. It's been so many months and we're still talking about this. Families and businesses are still dealing with the impacts as they try to clean up and get their business back up and running. We'll continue following their progress and of course keep you updated here on Fox 17 News.
8:32 our time taking a look at the forecast. Let's do it through food. Breakfast time right now, we're talking about lower 50s to upper 50s to lower 60s. Lunchtime, we'll continue to see temperatures climb into the comfort of 75 at 11, 79 degrees at noon, and 81 at 1 p.m. Sunshine the entire day. It's already there, and that's going to be the case through 8 o'clock. 8:04 is our sunset later. Maybe you want to get a car wash or wash it yourself. It's going to be nice outside. You can do it today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. The problem comes on Thursday and Friday. Not because of rain that will mess up the car wash, but those are hotter days, and it might not be as comfortable to get it done. I would suggest anything that has to do with outdoor activity, when it's especially the laboring things, you know, fixing the yard up, mowing the lawn. I would do all those things in the first 3 days of this week. Let's continue our journey through food. Dinner time. 80 degrees at 5 o'clock, 79 degrees at 6, and 76 degrees at 7. Again, continuing the sunny theme, and also low on the humidity. A very nice start to the week. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday, all in the 80s. A little below average today and tomorrow, and then we're back to the 90s just like that. Thursday and Friday, low to middle 90s, and middle to potentially even upper 90s by the time Saturday takes us into Sunday.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get to the very latest happening on I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. We've got 2 lanes shut down as that tow truck continues to get into position to attack that other car that they're trying to tow away there. This is one of 3 cars that they had to get to after an early morning crash. So you can see Metro Police have got multiple lanes shut down here while the tow truck gets back in position there to take care of that situation. So small delays leaving Nashville going towards Smyrna and Laverne. So here's a look at drive times right now. Hendersonville, 29 minutes. Murfreesboro doing really well, under an hour now. Mount Juliet coming in at 33 minutes there from the east side.
Well, in Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police, they are investigating a road rage shooting in Antioch that left one 18-year-old struck by a gunfire. Police responding to a shooting off of Murfreesboro Pike. It was on Saturday night, but you can see right here in this video, one vehicle slammed into an SUV and what appears to be bullet holes in that SUV. We know one person was rushed to Vanderbilt Medical University Center, and we're trying to get some more updates about this incident.
Hey, new this morning, just want to give you a heads up. If you were on I-24 and you are leaving Nashville going up toward Jolton or Clarksville, you're probably going to see the remnants of this burned out car on the side of the road. Smoky Barn News first reporting that the fire happened on I-24 right by exit 40 over the weekend. Still working to find out whether the person or people in the car are okay. But again, the burned out shell still sits on that right shoulder on I-24 going up toward Jolton this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
We're also following entertainment headlines here on Fox 17 News because singer and songwriter Lainey Wilson is now the newest Grand Ole Opry member.
She's a superstar. She got those bell bottoms. She's, you know, opening that, or I guess has opened that new Bell Bottoms Up. It's what it's called on Lower Broadway. So she's solidified now here in Nashville. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood welcoming her into the Opry while she was there performing Friday night. You know, she's been in Nashville doing this thing for about 10 years.
And she's now a superstar. Congrats to Lainey Wilson. She's also, by the way, 2024 Entertainer of the Year and Female Artist of the Year at the Academy of Country Music Awards. Now, during this particular highlight, Wilson performed several of her songs, as well as singing with another Opry member, Terry Clark, and Hall of Famer Wynonna Judd. Listen.
This right here is the highest honor for me. It feels like that stamp of approval from everybody that stood right here.
Wilson said she's been dreaming about this since she was 9 years old. She sat in the audience, thought maybe one day she'd make it, and now here she is.
We love to see it. We are now switching over to Operation Crime and Justice. Lebanon police arresting the man right here on your screen Thursday night. He is suspected of breaking into cars over at Little Lamb's Child Care. It's off of McGregor Street.
This is James Muncie. He's charged with 3 counts of burglary, theft, and vandalism. Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning, let's talk college baseball. The Vols setting new records in last night's game against a team from Evansville, Indiana. We'll give you the latest from Knoxville, plus talk about Kentucky baseball as well.
Well, you talk about Volunteers after they reigned victorious after last night's Game 3 against Evansville, a scrappy bunch in the Super Regionals.
Yeah, in fact, I don't think Tennessee thought they were going to get beat by Evansville in Game 2.
I don't think most people thought that Tennessee would get beat. Evansville was, what, a 16 seed coming in?
Yeah, one of the lower seeds, yeah. Well, Tennessee's the #1 seed,
right.
so yeah, so they were playing the lowest seed.
A little unexpected for the Vols to lose yesterday, but they came back last night, and boy, did they do it in big fashion. The Purple Aces scored once in the first inning. That would be it. Tennessee not only shut them out after that, but they racked up home run after home run after home run. 5, I believe, in the first 2 innings.
Wow. The Vols dominating everything. They went 12-1. They now advance to the College World Series out there in Omaha. They will take on Florida State in the first round. It's unknown exactly when that game will happen yet. That announcement should be made later tonight.
And big news for Kentucky as well. They're headed to the College World Series, making history. This is Kentucky's first College World Series go.
Wow, they've been playing the College World Series since the 1940s, so this is the first time. They beat the Oregon State team 3-2 yesterday. The SEC now makes up at least half of the 8 teams in the College World Series, including Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Texas A&M, and the Georgia Bulldogs have a chance to get there, beating NC State. If they do that, that would make it 5 out of the 8 teams in the whole tournament.
It's a great time to be in college baseball. Fun times, great.
That it is, and right now we're talking about a forecast that might not be fun times depending upon if you're going to Bonnaroo or not, because it's going to be hot every single day, and I'm not going to bring any rain for you, which is good, so at least for camping and all those intents and purposes, we're okay. But 90 degrees on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, and 92 on Sunday. Overnight temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s, if not 70 degrees, so we are warm from start to finish of every single day. And curious question time for you here today. It is illegal to wrestle a bear in which country? It's illegal. Whole country. Brazil, Canada, United States, or South Africa? I'll have the answer for you. Your 7-day forecast and work you into the weekend coming up in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. We continue to follow that crash there where the tow truck continues to try and work on a couple of cars and getting them out of the way. They've got 1 lane shut down there on that far side of the road there. You can't get by, not causing major delays. It's outbound, so it's not really that big of a deal right now. Here's I-40 at 46th Avenue. Good morning out there in the Nations. You're doing good coming in from the west side. We'll continue to follow things over the next few minutes.
4600.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Durham Injury Law.
Well, Nashville's cat community is sounding a desperate alarm. There are no vacancies for stray cats anywhere. We're talking at any of the government shelters or the many rescue centers set up.
Fox 17 News' Dennis Farrier has more on the effort to save those feline friends in this morning's Farrier Files.
Yes, dogs may be man's best friend, but there are plenty of people who fancy cats. Nevertheless, Nashville is overrun with unwanted cats.
This is the kitten corral at a foster home for the Music City Animal Rescue. You might think most of the stray and unwanted cats are housed at Metro Animal Control or the Nashville Humane Association. But the truth is, almost half of cats in shelters are living in cat rescues like this one. Vicki Harris runs the Music City Animal Rescue.
There's a limited space. Animal control is a physical location, and there is only so much they can do. There's only so much room. There's only so many people to take care of them. And they are currently and have been at capacity for months.
Most of you probably don't realize, even those of you who just love animals, that most of the stray kittens in Middle Tennessee are not in the animal shelter or in the Humane Society shelter. They are in rescues. And they're a lot of work, and there's a lot of kittens.
A shelter is no place for a nursing mom or tiny babies. There's just the staff, you know, they just don't have that, and they need that extra support and the extra attention that a rescue can give.
Vicki Harris can't stand to see cats suffer, and so she spends about $178 a kitten getting them ready for adoption. As generous as she is, she's overwhelmed.
Last month, we took in 4 moms, pregnant moms, and with babies. Each one of them had basically 5 to 6 kittens apiece. We took in 18 other cats and kittens, and then we had, that's just from Metro Animal Control.
Harris is tied into the cat rescue community. She knows exactly where all the cats are being kept, and while she and her friends are doing everything they can, she knows this problem is just too big. There are too many cats that need a home.
I don't think we're going to spay and neuter our way out of this situation.
These cat rescues could really use some help. Most of the donations go to the animal shelter, the Humane Association, the big guys. But these little rescues are doing heavy lifting. We have some contact information online if you'd like to help. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News. Your Code Red station.
Thank you, Dennis.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
I didn't know if you knew that or not. I was going to tell you.
Thank you so much. And we love that you're sharing all this information because there are folks who want to help the cats.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so expensive, and you know, you save a life, $178.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
Right.
It's
Well,
pretty good.
like you said, these are local mom and pops trying to do some heavy lifting here because the other shelters are overflowing. So.
Yeah, they're all overflowing.
Right.
They're all overflowing.
Thanks, Dennis.
There's no room at the inn.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Durham Injury Law.
And we'll go from cats to a completely different animal, quite literally. Time for the answer to your curious question. It is illegal to wrestle a bear. In which country? The entire country says, no, don't do it. Is it Brazil, Canada, United States, or South Africa? It is South Africa. You're not allowed to do it here. Erica nailed that answer a couple hours ago when we did it back in the 6 o'clock hour, first right out of the gate. Yep, now there are 20 states in the United States where it's illegal, but the entire country. Taking a look here, Muggy Meter, we're pleasant. We're in the 50s for how we feel when it comes to feels likes today. You'll be almost right near the actual air temperature the entire day. Love it, but you're also going to be deceived because this is not going to be helpful because we have a elevated UV index today. So when it feels more comfortable and it's not as hot outside, it'll only be right around 80. Burn time, 25 minutes. It may catch you off guard. Please, extra layers of some sunscreen if you can. Pool forecast for us today, taking us into the afternoon. 79 degrees at 2 p.m., 81 at 5. Tons of sun the entire day. It's a great pool day today. Honestly, all 7 days are great pool days, depending upon layers of comfort or levels of comfort when it comes to getting the heat to increase. Here's the pollen the next 5 days. When you don't get rain for a while, the pollen does build fairly quickly. Thursday into Friday. It's no longer tree pollen. Now this is mainly grass pollen and still flowers. So those are the two things we're watching here, especially juniper. That's a big one this time of the year. 80 degrees, low humidity, below average. We'll take it. 8:04 sunset. Taking a look here. Maybe you just want to forget it. Don't do the lawn mowing. Don't do any of that. You just want to sit down. There you go. Bonfire is looking good for us here. We'll go 79 degrees at 6 p.m. and then we'll go down to 72 by 8 o'clock coming up. Before we get to the 9 o'clock hour, I'm going to give you one last look at your 7-day forecast. Y'all are going to want to see there's a lot of heat coming our way by the end of the week.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you to the very latest happening on the north side. This is going to be I-65 and I-24, the crawl coming in from that north side there. You can see it for yourself. You can get by. Just know the congestion is in full swing at this point. Ellington Parkway doing a lot better right now. You can try to use that as a good way to steer clear. Here is going to be I-24 right at Hickory Hollow Parkway. The tow truck's still working on it, okay? This has been with us literally all 5 hours out here. This crash here or the one up above it that shut down the exit earlier in the morning. They're starting to get it out of the way. Hopefully we'll do a little better. We will continue to follow things with
help you save.
Well, new this Monday morning, 2 men are now accused of attacking a woman with a fire extinguisher and then robbing her. Metro Police say it happened Sunday at a Bellevue apartment complex right off of Old Hickory Boulevard.
All right, officers tell us that woman was simply walking her dog when Quishon DeMumbrium and Lamar Maddox sprayed her with a fire extinguisher and took her bag, her cell phone, and her car keys. Police say they later found the 2 men near the entrance of that apartment complex. DeMumbrium and Maddox both charged with robbery.
And also in Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police are investigating a road rage shooting over in Antioch that left one 18-year-old shot. Police responded to a shooting off of Murfreesboro Pike Saturday night, and you can see in this video one vehicle slammed into an SUV and what appears to be bullet holes in that SUV. We know that one person was rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center because of that.
Right now, we've got a live look from the heart of Nashville as we, well, at least wrap up our Monday.
for you here on the morning show. It's been a pretty good start. Looks like, Greg, that fog that we saw earlier this morning has cleared out nicely.
It has nicely. We might get one more little batch of that tonight just because temperatures will be very similar, but that is done for the day. No advisories, no watches, no warning, nothing to really catch you off guard here. It'll be 80 this afternoon and just a couple of clouds. No humidity, pollen counts are down. Easy day to start off a week, and tomorrow almost completely duplicates today when it comes to all of the comfort, no rain, temperature right near 80. We'll go 85 on Wednesday. That's the first day you'll begin to notice some subtle changes to humidity. Allergies go up a little bit, and then it all just kind of, second you walk out the door, poof. For Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're back above the 90-degree mark. Saturday and Sunday easily could make it even a degree.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
I just went to the 5th floor on this, John. This is pretty amazing. This is like a vertical bar that you have here on Broadway in Nashville, and it's just every space has been used wisely.
Well, hooray for the design. You know, they maxed it out. It's for me the first visit to it being finished, and it's like Christmas morning. You know, I went up to all 5 floors. I went out on the roof. I started waving to the neighbors next door. They didn't even know who I was, but I'm waving. You know, I'm like hi, because you know we'd been here when it was a construction site. I've been coming here when it was a parking lot, just talking about the design. And to see it all come to fruition, it's Christmas morning for us.
Obviously, you guys also 40th anniversary, you know, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What came here to JBJ and is at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's different?
I think we have a lot of items that were there and here, and so there's a lot of memorabilia that we have here in both places.
Well, you know, and it's so amazing, too. When I walked, I believe it was on the 2nd or 3rd floor, because I went to all of them and enjoyed all the floors. But the light-up signs with all of you guys on the wall to where every band member is featured.
They were